All right, ladies and gents, a big one here. Big decider. Will Nili, my good friend and great player, I'm sure you all know, will he make it back to gold after being relegated? Or will he be knocked out here in the decider and replaced by Uzzi, a very strong player from Mexico? Uzzi here in the blue on Nomad. This is our first game. And then we have two very closed maps for Nili as his choices for his home maps, and then two very open maps for Uzzi. Uzzi is the higher seed. Uzzi is the favored player based on his ranking and whatnot, but Nili is more accomplished and has played more tournaments. But having watched both players over the last couple months, I do think Uzzi is the favorite here. Uzzi has a higher level that he can reach. We'll see if that level is still there in the, under the pressure of a tournament. TC over here towards the west for Uzzi, right next to some deer, which is very nice with Mongols. And he is also docked in the west. And then Nili has docked over in the east. It is landlocked in the northwest. So these guys could not be further from each other as far as water's concerned, meaning that the fishing ships will probably be very safe for them. And Uzzi got his TC up faster, so he'll be like half a villager ahead, which is nice. Nili's villagers were kind of far away from a wood line. Had he gone this way, he would have seen the wood faster. It took him a little bit longer. But still not a bad TC and not a bad civ to have here, Malians, because you do save quite a few resources because all of your buildings, all your wood buildings are discounted. So yeah, we've got a donut map, and there's a pond in the middle, which players may choose to take later on, but not going to be a factor right now. And the big thing right now is vision. We've got two goats scouting around here for Uzzi, and Nili, I think, also has two goats, and Nili's using one on the shoreline. May end up using this one on the shoreline. Nili also sees three boars right now, which is crazy. He's got this boar, he's got this boar, and he's got this boar. So if they realize that the opponent's not docked close by, it will likely be fast castle, and Nili with a gold underneath his TC, and also having three boars will benefit there. For Uzzi, he sees one boar. He sees another boar, and honestly, I mean, a third would just be gorgeous here with the Mongols. That's going to be harder to find. But having the deer directly underneath your TC is almost better than seeing a third boar far away from your TC, because that helps you now. And he won't be struggling with production here at all. But yeah, the big thing I'm noticing is that Uzzi has not really scouted a lot of the shorelines, and Nili has. So Nili can already pretty much determine that his opponent has docked far enough away where his fish is safe. Well, he hasn't already realized it, but he will when he gets to the edge of the map here. So Nili will have a game plan, and Malians are really strong with the fast castle play. I feel like with all the hunt, it's possible that Uzzi may just blindly go, if he's inexperienced and he doesn't know the map and he's not prepared, which is the big question about Uzzi today. Yes, he has the ladder rankings, but how many training sessions has he done? How much does he understand the map? And the maps, rather. But yeah, anyways, if he could just blindly go feudal age to try and go ships, and if he were to go ships from this far away, it would take a very long time to find Nili. Other thing is, do you consider a fast castle with the Mongols? Into Mangadai? Like, it's a really strong unit. Yeah, there is another boar over here, so he'll probably end up bringing in this boar when this villager finishes with the shorefish there. Pretty standard stuff. Uzzi with a slight lead just because he got his TC up faster. And Nili knows everything that he would want to know now. He loses the sheep all the way over here. So next, he would like to know where his opponent's located on land. And he might actually find that out here in a second. Isn't every pro prepared for Nomad? Oh, absolutely not. No way. Nomad's completely different start. And you're probably saying that because high-level players are very competent in most settings, even if they don't play it a lot. Sure. But this version of Nomad's different because there can be ponds in the middle, and there's almost always a landlock, and the landlock affects the potential for fighting on water. Regular Nomad, there's no land, like regular DE Nomad, there's no landlock whatsoever. And so you can almost always justify going water. Like if there was no landlock here, you would just see two docks from both and they would go fight for fish. because you're going to find your opponent's fish. But with the landlock, if you're this far away, it takes so much longer to get over there. And as I say this, Nili's actually looked to me like he may have considered clicking up to feudal age, but Uzzi does. Uzzi did find the dock, and he's now sending a villager this way. Okay, so Uzzi's still going to contest the fish, but he's making an informed decision because he knows Nili is docked over there. And Nili's just going fast castle. Uzzi going up quite quickly here. It's going to be hard for him to afford the dock and the mining camp. I feel like he'll get the timing down, but then he'll have 2 docks on the field. But one of the docks is on the complete other side of the map. So he's really only going to be producing out of 1 dock that's going to allow him to apply pressure here. And I think Nili's just going to gladly give up his fish. Or sorry, not give up his fish, but he could lose a fishing ship or 2, relocate his fish. And he should be in a position to fight back on water later on. We'll see. Oh my god. Nili bringing in this boar from Narnia. Holy crap. Greedy boy. Nili, that's amazing though. So what, he's going to have 4 boars? Plus the fish? 7 fishing ships plus any deer here, plus any berries? Yeah, Nili could pull off a fast castle here. Weird thing is that he hasn't clicked up to feudal age yet. Hello? I think he believes he's clicked up. Hello? Hello? Did he drop? No, he didn't drop. Oof. Okay, so he's 40 seconds delayed because of not realizing that. And there then is the dock from Uzzi. He's going for another dock. He will have 2 galleys, and those 2 galleys might end up killing all of Nili's fishing ships. That's the plan from Uzzi. Still very curious on if Uzzi will take this boar. He's not bringing in the boar. I think that boar meat would be huge for him. Nili has lots of other ways to get food here. He had the boars. He'll have the berries. He'll have the deer. Took Uzzi so long. He's been in feudal age for a while. Just now he's starting to kill the fishing ships. But look at Nili's resources. Nili will absolutely reach castle age at a decent time. I think Uzzi is playing this like Ladder Arabia. Sorry, not Ladder Arabia, but like the ranked version of Nomad. I'm not sure I love the strat thus far. I think it's easy for Nili to be flexible, come back on the water. But he will lose all his fishing ships, and Uzzi's actually adding more fishing ships over here now. So that's going to be his food income. Lots of wood income for Uzzi. Not milling any of the hunt. Didn't bring in this boar. Didn't bring in this boar. Doesn't see many other boars. Has currently killed 3 units from Nili. You guys are probably like, why is T90 being so positive for Nili right now? Well, this is what happens when you go fast castle. But Nili's going to click up, no problem, and he can start to make some ships as well. So Nili's decision-making will now be interesting because he could opt for the second town center, or he could opt to focus on fighting back on water to stop something like this from happening. And Uzzi, you know, he's got wood, he's got gold. He doesn't really have the food, and I think he's going to buy his way up. Does he see these berries here? Does see the berries. Does see the hunt. Is taking the hunt here. Redocks here now for a bit more efficiency. Nili has his first fire out. Nili has his second fire out. He's able to kill galleys now. Nili's well on his way to castle age, and again, he's got more than enough food in the bank. Let's check res collected here. Res collected, pretty even, right? And Nili will be in castle age. So I suppose in theory, though, the player with fishing ships will have more resources collected in the long run. Nili's goat is freaking me out. It's like, it looks like it's a tower foundation on the minimap that I need to pay attention to. And Nili comes over here, finds 1 dock, sees the second dock. Fishing ship from Uzzi hiding. Well played there. And now Uzzi will probably need to produce more ships from this area, which he's now done because Nili's sending a fire that way. But Nili finds the fish. So, again, decision number 1 is or option number 1 is you get the War Galley upgrade and you stay on 1 town center. Option number 2 is you add the 2nd town center and then you delay the War Galley upgrade. Also, Nili fishing in the middle. I love that. Good luck finding these fish here, Uzzi. Very creative, especially with the Malians because you have all that savings. Nili opts for the 2nd TC and also the War Galley upgrade. Dang. And now he's got 2 minutes to try and contest the fishing area for Uzzi. And honestly, he might not need that much time. Uzzi's actually missed him here. Uzzi will have ships, but Uzzi will not have upgraded fire ships, and all 6 of these fishing ships could be found by Nili's fire. I don't think you can just prioritize water and get away with it if only water's your strategy. I really think either fast castle or even incorporating some feudal age play on land as well could be good. And I think Nili's in the dream position. He's played the perfect game thus far. It does make me think why Mongols a bit for Uzzi. As he had Italians available, and Italians I think are better at competing on water. Nili is definitely going to want this win. To start off this series feeling strong, he drops the monastery to think about getting relics. He's adding fishing ships everywhere, just adding them back. He's going to have 10 fishing ships because he's got water control right now. But there is the War Galley upgrade for Uzzi. Yo, also Cedric, what's up, man? Welcome. Guys, notice Uzzi was under so much pressure here, he actually sold his stone in order to go up to Castle Age. So he's not in a position to boom here. This is not a long-term position for him. But upgraded War Galleys here. This would be a juicy spot for Nili to have a demo, and the demo's already been on the way. Oh, boy. That's interesting. Uzzi buys some stone back to drop the 2nd TC. Demo hops out, and Demo misses. Oh, no. Oh, God. That's actually horrible. It would have been perfect here. But, you know, he's doing a lot of different things right now, and he has to go for conversions and repairs to save his position on water. Oh, man, that's painful for Nili. 1 demo away from that whole situation being different, and now he's got Navy looping in here. He has to be careful with the Vills, very careful with the Vills, and he will lose most of his water control on the outside. The positive, though, is that he has fish in the middle. So that's good for him. And he's already been on 2 town centers for a bit. And he does land a demo. Uzzi sees it. And another good micro moment from Uzzi against a demo. Dang. 2nd TC up for Uzzi. Let's check res collected. I feel like this is an important stat. Uzzi still collected more. A lot of wood, a lot of gold. Not as much food, which we know is valuable. Monk is trying to walk on water, but sorry, dude, you're not Jesus. Not happening. Go back on land, you fool. Oh, God, the villagers blocked him. They do not respect the clergy, and things are possibly starting to get a little bit overwhelming for Nili, but I still think he's actually okay. I know the score looks bad, and I know that the fact is TCs are all in the same freaking spot. Because honestly, he hasn't done a lot to expand, and there's not as much land space here, which could suck. But I still think Nili's okay. Because look, 6 fishing ships for Uzzi, right? So he's got 6, that's all right. 2 over here and 4 on the other side. And Nili's got 6 as well, which is just as efficient. Nili's got a relic already. Uzzi just now working his way towards that. Nili's farming eco, berry eco, everything there is looking pretty good. But man, what an even game, guys. 59 pop for both. For those that were pumped for this series, this is going to deliver for you. This TC is a TC you place when you're concerned and you feel very scared of the darkness that is around the map. Would have maybe preferred it over here to expand a little bit more, but the compactness of the base could be nice. For now, it's basically a boom game and get relics, and we head towards Imp. The best Imp civilization here is Mongols, but that's only if they get lots of castles, lots of Mangudai. And I think Malians have lots of opportunities to push the Mongols before Imp comes in. I like how Nili hasn't invested too much on water, but he's also chipping in with a demo here or there. That's always pretty nice. Res collected again. It's got to be close. Oh my goodness. Still so close. Nili more food, which could lead to a faster Imp. Uzzi's additional wood and Uzzi's additional gold led to him winning water, right? I think I prefer the food. If you ask me, I prefer to have more food right now. Nili adding a barracks, probably so he can eventually work towards a stable here. And his monks have definitely seen some things. He's going to do some nomad things, outposting and housing here for vision. And he is actually going to get this relic. Uzzi seems to be missing the relics. And that would be relic. Oh, he misclicked it. No, he misclicked it. He shift queued it back home, but he didn't click the relic initially. Well, that kind of hurts. But anyways, at least the monk might make it home. Oh, no, he realized. He started to convert the Vil, and now he's like, oh. Never mind. Uzzi here, I believe, just converted a ship. Not that big of a deal. Uzzi must know that Nili's over here, but he doesn't know a lot about it. Whereas Nili knows quite a bit more about Uzzi's situation. And no stable yet for Nili, but I feel like that could be a good play. He's going to go for a siege push, and this is not something Uzzi sees. Now, siege isn't that worrying for the Mongols. But siege can be worrying for the Mongols if you don't have a castle yet. Or if you don't have step lancers because you don't have a stable yet. And again, I'll check resources collected as Nili wanders home with what will be relic number 4. Food counts closing in, but still Nili floating more food. Maybe in a better position there. Monk just went down there for Uzzi. 18 to 10 KD for the Mexican. Oh, I didn't put the flags up. What is wrong with me? I'm sorry. We've been doing that consistently. I suck. I can't spell Mexico. Wow, I'm smart. Okay, and then Germany. There we go. That looks cool. The little push is about to start here for Nili. Could get a nice little boom here in the lumberjacks. He could kill 4 or 5 villagers here. And he goes for the farmer. And now he doesn't kill a villager. Okay. Lost the ship over here. Now Uzzi knows, ooh, that could be bad. I probably need a castle sooner rather than later. And Uzzi adds a scout instead of a knight, which is so huge, and he kills the monk, and now he can see all of this. He'll see the mangonel. He sees the next mangonel as well, which is like panic castle time, basically. The mangonel might go down because Nili's villagers are out of position for the repair. Oh, he killed the scout. He doesn't kill his villagers, and he saves the mangonel. What a clutch moment. Oh, and he converts the scouts! What? The AoE gods have blessed you, Nili. Do not waste this opportunity. Uzzi's like, are you freaking kidding me? I should have killed the mangonel. I should have killed this monk. He shouldn't have a scout right now. What in the world? Monk does end up going down, but this castle is extremely risky for Uzzi. And Nili, you've done everything you need to do now. The mangonel is doing enough. Stop producing everything and go imp. And as long as you get the castle here, you're in a perfect position. In fact, I think I'll start making the castle with these villagers. Why not? There's nothing to really deny all this. We talk about it all the time, right? Malian's very flexible in feudal and castle age. Mongols, you need to get really post-imp to be able to make it happen. And yeah, he's played this perfectly. He went fast castle, knew exactly what he needed to do, and he's looking to trap Uzzi in here and stop Uzzi from expanding because he has vision in this area. That said, I feel like the gate's going to open, and Nili's going to lose a lot of vills there. So maybe that aspect isn't great. But, you know, TC's going to go down for Uzzi on this gold, which he needs. Uzzi's gone into Lycav and a couple camels to defend from that small attack from Nili. But that's all it is. There's the gate opening. All right, well, that's a lot of vills going down. Uzzi can just walk around anyways. Just kind of funny. Looks like I missed a 1-for-1 here. Also looks like some cav went down for Nili. Those were just the scouts. But you just need to tread this castle down, and that's your win condition right now if you're Nili. And with that said, I think you should probably even make another castle. But instead, he's opting for a castle here. Oh, man, I don't like this castle. I do not like it because he could see you. Actually, this monk converting this villager is good for Nili. He'll abandon a position and he'll double down on the push. That is a blessing in disguise. He's actually going to go for a defensive one. He's really concerned, guys. And Uzzi's going to kill those monks. And Uzzi could raid Nili here, which is why Nili wanted to place it. And oh boy, as Nili would say. Cav archers maybe for Uzzi? He's dropped 2 ranges. I think it's smart to not commit to Mangudai. Crossbowmen! Go cav archers! They're still fire faster. Don't go crossbowmen. Mongols do have arbalest. A lot of players forget about that. And he feels it could be useful here. But I think it's a sign that he really is out of his comfort zone right now and really in an uncomfortable position. I don't think Nili will commit to the Gebettos long term. This is all about taking out the castle and then deciding on what he goes for next. He's applied so much pressure with this push. He's got the first Treb on the way. He's on the hill as well, right? So that's a pretty big deal. Nili trying to wall this up. Or, sorry, Uzzi is. So he can't be raided by Nili. He may eventually get those walls down. The imp TC is this one. TCs are going to stay up anyways. Still a little uncertain on what Uzzi's army count's going to look like. And the upgrades are still actually quite bad for both of them with all the units they're making. This is really just about early Imperial Age trebuchets taking a position more than anything. I think Nili has a lot more time to think about things, right? Because he's got the castle here in defense. And he's got this castle, and he's going to win the Treb War here. So Nili should be able to, in these moments, get cav armor, which is what I think he has to go for. Also, the outpost from him is giving him vision on archer ranges. So he could maybe get a glimpse of what Uzzi's going for. Yeah, another TC for Nili, just for a bit more map control, but the castle will go down. And that has got to be so exciting for him, as he's going to add pikes now. Feels like a really weird choice to go pikemen. Like, Malians don't get Halb, so it doesn't feel like you're playing towards your strengths. You do have higher Pierce Armor infantry, but I really feel like if he just goes stables here and plays in towards heavy camel or cavalier, it could be awesome. Uzzi's super cramped right now, guys. And the Gebetto from Nili. Keeping an eye on this gold, but they will go down. They've ranged upgrades for Nili, as he's also dropping archer ranges. And he's going to encounter Mangudai. And the Mangudai are taking out the Mangonels. Still no bloodlines on the Mangudai, though. Again, big upgrades missing for both players due to the pressure of the moment here. But again, it will be Arbalest for Uzzi, which is not so good against crossbowmen. Is good against Gebetto and pikemen, though. Uzzi does not have space, guys. Nili has all the map control in the world. Pretty soon, Uzzi's going to be on 1 TC. And Uzzi can't push the other side because Nili's castled it up. And he can't push this back either. Why is Nili's so nervous right now? He's going skirms and pikes. And Malians have inferior pikes and inferior skirms compared to other civs. And he's got 35 on gold. Nili, my friend, go for the killer unit. You can do it. But maybe he wants to hold with trash units. And then if he holds with trash units, he could win the game with gold. And just like use siege. Like, the only gold units he might make might be siege. More ranges for Uzzi coming up. Conscription now. He's got the Strebs waiting. Still no ballistics on the crossbowmen. Still no arbalest. This is an uncomfortable spot to be in. This TC is getting trebbed down. That will go down unless units go over to respond to it. And the pressure's on for the Mexican. Is Nili going to drop a castle next to this push? If he can get a castle here, it's game over. But it's also very risky because he doesn't have a ton of army. The skirm upgrades are abysmal, but that's so many bomber cannons. I don't think you could actually stop that many bomber cannons without a little bit of luck from your Treb shots if you're Uzzi. Arb coming in. Will be in soon. Uzzi knows he has to do something. He's going in against the basically Castle Age skirms. He's got arbs. The trebs are going down. This is nervous times. And the treb will probably get saved by Nili. And that's a lot of Uzzi's economy fighting trebuchets, which is not what you want. But can Nili finish the game here? Not exactly. But here he's got Geppettos on the gold. That treb's still going to go to work on the TCs. And he just gained the control he needed in this game, guys. And he's got so much gold to work with. He has so much space to work with. And even though he loses his bomber cannons, even though Uzzi for a moment is like, wow, that's so good for me. Uzzi has very little, if any, access to gold. And he's got no map control. Nili should absolutely finish him off here. This would be a good de-stressor moment for Nili, who will undoubtedly be very, very nervous. I know it means a lot to him. I'll leave it at that. He is going to lose a treb to villagers, which is not the biggest highlight for him. But he just needs to keep pushing here, and he's going to push with a mix of pikes, skirms, and tons of bombard cannons. Uzzi's got nothing. And Nili knows it, as he'll drop this castle, and Uzzi is going to have to step it up. I did not see enough from Uzzi in this game that tells me that he was that informed on what other people have been doing on Nomad. And the fact that he played into water while having Italians as a civilization, to choose Mongols here tells me he must have a plan for Italians elsewhere. If he doesn't, and he ends up losing this series, that's definitely one to look back at. For Nili, he went fast castle. He was happy to give up water. He transitioned very nicely. I loved the creativity to fish in the middle pond. Both players had seen that. Nili was the one who took advantage of it. And then that little push, like the Mangonel monk scouts, that little bit of focus there on that hill, the outposting, all those tiny things. Really good Nomad-esque stuff there from Nili. You don't see that on very many other maps. Because he was thinking it was just going to be a straight boom war into Imp, and that he could freely drop his castles and mass the Mangadai because he didn't see anything from Nili. But Nili got value with very little there and got max reward. Nili more food, Nili more gold, and Nili more stone. He dominated that game. And again, like, honestly, Skirm Pike is kind of rough. But it was the bombard cannons that meant the most to him. And he couldn't be rated here. And he was applying all the pressure here. So it was tough for Uzzi to really decide on what to do. But I didn't like the Arbalest choice. I think in an ideal world, maybe he goes light Cav with Cav Archer to play towards his Civ strengths. Maybe he thought he picked Italians. I don't know. He literally played as Italians. Like, he played towards the Italian strengths, but he did it with the Mongols here. All right, here we go. So Uzzi looking to bounce back, going with his number one Civ on his home map. He's gone for the Chinese. Now, Chinese, I do not consider them to be a bad civilization here at all. In fact, they're a great civilization against the Franks. But the standout thing for me is this is the number one pick from Uzzi. And it does leave him at a disadvantage on Regicide Fortress because Chinese are also like top 2, top 3 there. So I think in Uzzi's mind, he's expecting to lose Regicide Fortress, like straight up. But he's maybe saved Italians for that. That's just where my brain is at as far as the draft is concerned. Franks are very easy Civ to play. Chinese are very difficult Civ to play. But if you could play Chinese well and have very little TC idle time at your start, which is working pretty good for Uzzi thus far, get your walls down and play safe. They should be able to give Franks some big problems. Franks, again, it's easy. Going scouts, going into knights. Very good economy, but eventually, if they haven't done enough damage against a camel civilization that has better economy, they're just going to be up against camels or up against pikes. The Chinese economy is pretty strong as well. So as far as the map's concerned, pretty good for Nili as far as the wood. Like, that is... He is living a rich life over here by Kilimanjaro standards. Berries being forward, not too bad. Gold being forward could be a problem. But he's got the wood, he's got the stone. Something's going to be exposed, right? For Uzzi, he has lots of wood lines. He actually has more wood that he could wall into here. If you're in the corner, you tend to get a little bit more sometimes. But his gold also exposed. Berries still forward. So I said it earlier, Because we had a game yesterday where someone played as Franks and they didn't play towards their strengths. They thought they were against a better civ, so they didn't go scouts. Just go scouts. Play to the strengths of your civilization. Go scouts and adapt from there. You have to. If you're playing Franks in some weird way into infantry and archer, it's just not going to feel good. Trust me. I think Nili will definitely do that. 2 on wood is an indicator that he will do that. And both players just pushing in all their hunt right now to get as much food as possible. Is the pond worth milling? Absolutely, yeah. In fact, I think you should. I think everyone should be milling this because this map is about fast uptimes. And you bring in food faster from the shorefish than you do from the berries. And Nili is not going to do that. But then again, he does have a berry bonus. And he might end up taking this a little bit later. Frank's man-at-arms into archers feels real nice. I don't agree. I don't think it feels as nice as 18 pop scouts. And you're not able to build up towards as many farms, right? Which Franks are really good at. And the composition that Chinese will want to get for is scouts and skirms in most cases. So I think scout skirm just floods the whole map against man-at-arm archer play. I think Nili's just got to stick with his game plan, like I said. I think possibly on another map, right, where it's, you know, you could do a little bit more defensively after the man-at-arms. But on this map, I think scouts have a whole lot more utility. Even if you're not killing stuff, after a while, you can use them to scout all the extra golds and relics in the map, which is helpful. But we'll see. Nili's gone exactly for what I expected here. 18 pop. 1 lumber camp is going to suit him so well. And then Uzzi should probably look to get some walls down here soon, and he'll be thinking about scouts as well. Can Chinese then just play scouts into camels until they secure the center? Yes, but if you outplay with the scouts, you can gain small advantages. I think scout spearmen can be really strong. Like, you should have the first scout out faster, and then you could pressure a little bit with spears. And Chinese, like, the decision for Chinese now, you're thinking, oh, my civilization's better. I need to wall. Sometimes you wall too much, your villager gets called out. Sometimes you wall too little. You might try and squeeze in horse collar, because you get more food on those farms. There's just a lot of different things that go through your mind. I think it's more likely that Chinese get their walls down and that Chinese are able to play optimally if you're not going up very quick. Now, in different civ matchups, I say, yeah, go man-at-arms for sure. But with Franks, I wouldn't like that. These are the moments. These are the moments where Nili needs to decide on what he does. He sees the Vil. Now he's like, is his scout around? Because if his scout's around, I shouldn't fight. Sees the scout. That's actually really good heads-up play from him. Still should be checking. I'd like to see the first spear come forward. No spears for Nili, though. Just going to add scouts. Uzzi will play defensive here. There's Uzzi's stable. Nili also looking to wall. Nili sees that stable. Doesn't know this is open. Uzzi did scout all of this. I think we'll see... Oh, what? No, don't. What? Who? Why? What? Okay, well, that bothers me. Very, very much. But he's under pressure right now. And it's hard to make the proper decisions when you're under pressure. But, like, that is less walling. It secures you more space. But it may be considered more risky, so... Also, I'm not sure I love this for Uzzi. 5 on wood on the lumber camps. 7 on wood on that lumber camp. Or, straggler tree. But he's safe. He's secured his village. And this is now why people are like, don't go scouts against Chinese. What are you doing? Nili shows up with the 2 scouts. It took him a long time to get his scouts forward. I think Nili's just focusing on the defense. He's just been walling. Like, he has 4 scouts now, but I didn't see 2 scouts arrive to any of these locations until just now. And now you need to make sure you're walled. Otherwise, you're really going to have some headaches. No holes in Uzzi's walls that I can see. Uzzi will farm away, taking his berries now. In the middle, Nili's scout getting attacked, and Uzzi really wants a response here in this game. Economically, it's looked rough and futile due to all the walls, and he got housed pretty massively. Nili's looked sharper, guys. To me, Nili has looked sharper economically. And I think it's bad enough. If he loses this game, Nili would have to have some shocker games for Uzzi to somehow still win the series. He needs this game. It's your number 1 civilization pick. It's Chinese versus Franks. Nili has his number 1 and number 2 civilization picks designed for his home maps. But now you get worried when you're up against the Chinese. You don't really know what to do, so Nili's going to try and go for archers. And Uzzi is going to see the golds being taken here. I think Uzzi will be very happy with the fact that he's seeing his opponent go to gold. He'll be like, oh, archers with Franks? Okay. Lovely. So we're theory crafting a little bit, right? I think using the wood for the range and making 3 farms, right? 175 wood versus 180 wood, right? I think making 3 farms is preferable. Delaying the mining camp an extra minute or 2, adding another farm, farm and a half. I know you can't add half farms, right? I think that might be slightly preferable in terms of your castle age time. But if you want map control, this is something you can opt for. Uzzi taking his gold on the front. Uzzi, no archer range yet. Nili's food count's looking pretty tasty, but I think it's deceiving. Shorefish is almost gone. Berries is almost gone. Normally when you see these stats, you think you're going to go to Castle Age at a good time still, but I think it's going to drop off a little bit for him. But he's going to pressure that gold, and Uzzi's dropping a tower. So Archer's paying off right now from Nili. It just forcing some type of mistakes, reactions. Uzzi's going to go for his range as well. Let's see. Food eco for Nili, adding more farms. He'll have a total of 11 farms. He still could go to Castle Age off this. This is really smooth. Making it happen. Nili on Killy? True. Nili can't lose on Killy. How stupid are you, Uzzi, to pick Killy? What's a name that rhymes with Uzzi? Uzzi Loozy. Oh no! He's dead. Alright, Nili. Just doing some chip damage. But Castle Age will come in for both. And the Chinese have survived. Not the cleanest game Uzzi's ever played in his life. But he's going to click up here. And if he's going to go archers, he'll be happy. He's clicked up. And Nili's clicked up as well. 0 kills for both. Let's check res collected. Very close. So what do you commit towards in the long run if you're Nili? I kind of feel like going 2 stables still makes a lot of sense. Nili might actually look at his map and think I can boom back here. Because Nili's a boomer. And you forced a tower from your opponent, so they can't build the town center. It does look like Uzzi's collecting some stone, though, so who knows. Like, you see archers from Uzzi. Maybe you just... Did you give up on archers? I don't know. You're always so scared that the Chinese could go knights and crossbows combined. But God, the efficiency here on these villagers is just painful to look at. And I think Nili has been rewarded. He's made it awkward for Uzzi to play with the Chinese here. If it rhymes, it's true. Yeah, exactly. Like Viper, diaper, because he's a big baby. So that works, right? Crossbowman with the Franks. We will arrive to Castle Age with 7 archers. Well, I mean, I guess if your opponent's only going to have 4 archers, it could be pretty good. Both players with leftover feudal age army. Some army they're planning on keeping alive in the future. Other units are just a waste of time. A bit of a distraction. Those are the only 2 kills in the game. The 2 kills Nili just got there. He gets crossbow. He gets bodkin. Decent timings. Opportunities to pressure certain areas. Uzzi will have to fall back. Remember, cheaper techs for Uzzi. And Uzzi has the better archers in the long run. So Nili's hoping these archers will do something for him. And he's going to go university to try and win the archer war. Just straight up here. He really has to. Uzzi, dude, you've got to get town watch in these situations, right? Oh, yeah, he senses it. He knows something's up. And he sees the units now. He dropped another house to protect this, and he moves to the other wood line. And Uzzi says, okay, onto your gold I go there, friend. Nili getting ballistics for 8 crossbows. It just feels so off to rush ballistics as the Franks. But he thinks the Civ matchup is bad. He feels like, I've got to be extreme. I've got to do something that doesn't make sense to surprise him. I get it. Got to make damage happen now. And he didn't get damage done on that wood line. The towers served a great purpose here for Uzzi, and Nili not having a tower, now he gets pushed completely off of gold. He's got no other golds in here, guys. Oh, man, he's got to come home and react now to clear this, but if he has ballistics, he could make it happen. Uzzi's going to back away. Great job from Uzzi to stay alive in this game. He needs this for momentum. He's got 16 on gold, very little on wood right now, does not have ballistics yet. Okay, so now Nili can come back on gold. I would like to see Nili scouting here. I think a TC here is pretty ridiculous. I think you want a TC here if you can fit it. Bloodlines for Uzzi, for the couple knights he's going to make. He's just going to have 2. If you town center this gold, you can move out freely. Okay, this is good. Protects the front of your base, protects the gold. It sucks to play this map because of the hills. What about Uzzi? Uzzi will need that other gold soon. He sees this gold. Remember, he didn't wall towards that. And now ballistics is on the way for Uzzi, but I honestly, I don't think he's going to expect it from Nili. Nili, your gold's exposed here. Oh, quick wall. Okay, 1 villager will die, but that's worth it. They didn't like him anyways. That's why they put him on the outside. That's how it works. Okay, so in a moment... Actually, he's still alive. Okay, he's dead now. Uzzi might realize Nili has ballistics here in a second. He's going to have it in 10 seconds, so the timing should be similar. 15 crossbows for Uzzi. 14 crossbows for Nili, who's been playing... He's been jumping around golds. And now this gets awkward for both players. We'll see how the micro goes. Leftover scouts from Nili are trying to help here. And then the monk from Nili going for the knight. The knight doesn't get converted. That knight does, though. He was very willing to change sides. But I'm still not sure if this is good for Nili because he's going to lose his monk. He's going to lose his crossbows. And Uzzi has completely pounced on this position. Uzzi's got a decent spot economically now, and now there's no real potential for Nili to counterattack. And Uzzi can expand that economy and move out to this gold, or move to the middle possibly, for a siege workshop. Dang. Nili 7 crossbows, Uzzi 15, but Uzzi only 9 in this position. So Nili can hold with his 9. And these units can't really run in here. This is max aggression from Uzzi. This is eco and defense from Nili. A couple nice defensive engagements. And maybe building up towards a castle, like villagers on stone now, could be a big deal for Nili. Also, if you're making knights, I'd really like to see the armor upgrade and the attack upgrade research, because you have the food. Just thinking about some things that could be tweaked. And there's the TC for Uzzi now. Siege and crossbow, though, is going to be really tricky for Nili. There might be moments, though, if the crossbows for Uzzi ever get too excited and move in here, that maybe the siege then gets picked off by Nili's knights. Oh, God, the TC does not exactly protect this gold. More villagers going down for the German. Nili, 5 villagers down. But still in the game. Another really even game. 68 pop for Nili, 71 for Uzzi. Uzzi with the offensive advantage. Nili with the economic advantage. At least in terms of villagers, but I don't know how consistent that's going to be if the game continues like this. Good micro from Nili with the knight. But still Uzzi with the hill and Uzzi with thumb ring. So Nili tried. Like, he really tried to rush some timings. He tried the early feudal pressure. But it has not looked good for him. And I'm not sure it's going to look good unless he has some stellar micro moments here. He's at a disadvantage with numbers. He's at a disadvantage with upgrades. And he's at a disadvantage with position. Because he's at the bottom of a hill. Yeah, siege makes a lot of sense. I think this is something Nili could have thought of before. Because his opponent has largely just had crossbows and mangonels here. The difference of thumb ring, though, and that firing speed is just beautiful. Oh, man. 2 mangonels for Uzzi as he looks for a momentum switch. He wants to tie up this series. He needs to win this game. Because Civ-wise, he's completely screwed if he doesn't. And Nili might have a big, like, oof moment if he gets completely dominated right now. And it's happening. He's got no gold income. He has no stone income. He could take stone, but it'd be too little too late, perhaps. If the TC goes down, this might be the end. Chinese in Castle Age, but also Uzzi on a standard lands map. That's why he drafted this map. This is why Nili went for all the closed maps. Look at Uzzi's micro there. And there's not many monks for Nili, so the knights from Uzzi could actually go in against the siege right now, but he has to respect the fact that monks could pop out. Uzzi loses crossbows to an attack ground from Nili. Mangonels also run into the TC fire. And those are the moments for Nili. Imagine if Nili knew about this gold and could have some villagers there. Oh, that'd be so nice. Still 2 town centers for Uzzi. He's just relocating for wood. Can Nili hold? Nili with another big shot. And he gets another one. And he can actually kill that mangonel with his knights right now. Nili's in this game still. The knight. Bonk! Got it. Nili, still only 2 crossbows, though. And still lots of villager idle time. But that was good. That was incredibly good from him to hold. The score stabilized a little bit. I feel like in those moments, though, you want to be on stone. Now he is. So if you get another shot, you could stabilize and drop a defensive castle. Oh, God, these crossbowmen. TC on the hill from Uzzi. On the gold, which he's actually not mining any of right now. Both players dropping a market seconds ago to balance their economy. And again, the pop is close. 83 versus 80. You'd love to see it. This is awesome. Res collected. Nili's 1,000 ahead, but the KDs looked abysmal, right? And oh, a tower. Oh. Pain. 15 villagers now lost for Nili. No gold income. Uzzi keeps checking up on this gold. I think Nili could still been taking it, though, like in these moments in theory. But really hard to do in practice. Uzzi, honestly, I don't even know if you need a forward castle here, man. I respect the energy. But, like, I think a castle on this hill is more than enough. He wants to castle there. And if that castle goes up, Nili will only be working with this little gold, which is why Uzzi's doing it. And Nili's like, oh, okay. So I'm now going to bail on that idea. And he's surely going to think about coming to the hill for a castle. He doesn't know there's a TC there. It'd be kind of interesting if Nili lands a big shot. As Uzzi's micro, again, so impressive. The scout goes in for the monk. The monk will get the conversion, but the mangonel will go down. And the castle will go up. And the monk goes down. If the castle's up, these villagers go down. Still so difficult for Nili, despite having a villager lead. Where on earth does he go? He drops the castle there. Yeah, I agree. Uzzi can afford to be choosy with his castles. Nili, every decision needs to be spot on here. And actually, Nili will lose more villagers building his castle than Uzzi did building his. Ultimately, it goes up, though. But the villager lead just slowly but surely disappearing for Nili. Okay, so this knight has actually killed 5 villagers. Oh, hero knight for Nili. But, you know, if Nili can find resources in this corner, he still could maybe have a chance here. Knight was found. I don't know if Nili does that stuff intentionally, but when I played against him a month or two ago, the same crap happened where he does one knight kill like 8 villagers of mine. Nili's still booming a lot, but he's headed to this gold because he doesn't see this gold. Little surprised. Nili loves outposting. I'm surprised that he hasn't been outposting in the south. No horse collar. Wheelbarrow's now coming in for Uzzi. I wonder if he says, ooh, that's late. What other eco upgrades are late? Watch, he's going to do it. Gold mining upgrade and horse collar coming in now. Gold mining upgrade, horse collar. Nope, okay. Uzzi's got good vision, so he realizes now that Nili has to expand to the south. And a big attack round again there from Nili. It's not the first time in this game. This TC's pretty clutch, giving Nili some golds. Nili, I also wouldn't even mind rams to ram this castle down. Looks like he might be thinking about Imp. It wouldn't feel natural for Uzzi to have to check here, because if Nili's not here, why would he go even further for gold? He doesn't think... Like, you just feel like if he's anywhere, it's here. If he's not here, he's not here. Is sending a knight over there, though, and the crossbows are doing a loop DD. I think Nili can still win this game. I really do. He's held on. He's got a good economic position. He could kill all these crossbows. These crossbows could be completely trapped in a second. Saves that monk inside the TC. Crossbows are going to run past here. Oh, this is kind of annoying. You'd never expect Uzzi to run past, but Uzzi realized that he could. And, oh, God. Okay, this really hurts. This really hurts. Lots of idle time for Nili. Lots of panicking. But, hey, he's got gold for now. Still hasn't been spotted there. Both players on the way to the Imperial Age right now. But Nili can make a second castle. Uzzi's castle. I guess both castles have been shooting each other, but Uzzi's castle could get trebbed down here. How do you lose 28 vills and still have the lead? Focus on macroing a lot. And remember, in order to kill all those villagers, you have to apply a lot more focus on the front, which is what happened here. Like, his micro is incredible. But a couple eco upgrades missing. He will now lose this army. But before he does, he's looking to kill more and more vills. Castle there from Nili will go up. Castle here for Uzzi will go up. Uzzi's crossbow kills one more vill before it goes down. Look at this from Uzzi. He does not know about these golds and stones, guys. If he knew about this, Nili would be screwed. Nili would have basically no gold. Nili has a chance. I think Nili needs to go for... Like, he needs to choose an army type. I was a little unsatisfied, even though Nili won the previous game, in how... in his army type, and how late he was with upgrades. I think that could hurt both players similarly today, because I'm seeing the same from Uzzi. Nili's going to try and go knights. Oh, man. How many times do we see it? Just not outposting an area. Just one or two outposts. A couple waypoints with the scout. Oh, wait. He pulled this one off. Okay, this changes the game. He pulls this one off to double check as he's building up towards Lightcav and Chukunu. If this Lightcav finds these TCs, it changes the game. Oh, my God. Crazy, man. Because he could just go Lightcav raid. Like, he could just fully raid Nili. That's ridiculous. It's like there's a force field. He can't enter here. If you have Cav on the field, you can snipe Trebs as well. First Treb on the way for Nili. Doesn't have the second Treb on the way yet. First Treb's on the way for Uzzi. Okay, Uzzi finds it. Uzzi sees this now. And he's not just going to find that TC, he's going to find the other. Uzzi just getting Feudal Age armor, which means it will take some time for him to really have the ability to run underneath TCs and castles. Both players have Bodkin and Ballistics, so their castles are really valuable now. And Frank castles are cheaper, but Nili doesn't have a ton of stone income. This is his only stone income. Random outpost villager from Nili wanders through someone else's economy. That is the most Nili thing you'll see if you watch his gameplay. He loves his outposts. I think both players lose a castle here. Nili will lose his, but not before he makes another treb. And then Uzzi will lose his too. And Uzzi actually going to choose to go camel here because he sees Nili's going for knights. It's not a bad play. That's a really good play, actually. But the lack of armor, it really stresses me out for the guy. I think he's got the position to win this game. He's worked so hard. Nili, to be fair. Nili's expecting Halb, guys. Nili is expecting Halb as the play from his opponent. So he's going, and that wouldn't be a bad thing to expect, so he's planning on hand cannons. But that's going to take some time. Camels and monks from Uzzi here to defend this area, an area that probably could have a castle in it soon. And the trebs here from Uzzi, starting to take out Nili's castle, will leave Nili very unprotected. Man, oh man, does Uzzi hate the blacksmith, though. He's missing so many upgrades. To be fair, though, to him, he's producing army all the time. He's not really floating resources. And he's producing vills all the time as well. He's producing trebs. And he doesn't trickle treb. Castle will go down for Nili. Nili's trebs are exposed. Nili doesn't have an army. Nili's going skirms. I guess the Chukunu could have scared him. Again, the Chinese options are just so difficult. You don't really know what they're going to go for. They can do anything. And Uzzi's going to clear up the trebs. Nili now has no ability to make more of these things. And Uzzi's army count is higher. His army control is superior. He just needs to cut Nili off of gold here. Cut Nili off of gold here after castling this position. Sorry to look away from the fight for a second, but I just want to show these other things because they're so crucial. As Uzzi's now getting a few more upgrades. The Chukunus, the Camels, the Light Cap, all up against Frank Skirms. What is up with Frank Skirms and the Deciders? We have seen more Skirms from Franks than I ever thought we would ever see. Like, they're committing to fully upgrade these Frank Skirmishers. I mean, Cloud did it. That's the other player I'm thinking of, and he ended up winning his series, so maybe that's the way. Lose by going Frank Skirms in one game, have all the answers in the next. But Nili's he's done an amazing job at surviving. But he's just been under pressure all the time. And honestly, this was a desperation move, which worked out. Had there been army in that area, had Uzzi had an outpost, Nili would have resigned a long time ago. And this is exciting for this series because I think Uzzi will tie it up. The home map choice pays off. And then Uzzi, he gets to think, okay, we got the win in the bag. I could have done this slightly differently. These are my strengths that I can stick to against this guy. We dominated him. We killed so many vills. He never had a chance. And I don't know what he's going to think. Maybe he thinks the same thoughts, but he thinks the Spanish version. Because he's from Mexico. Nili es no bueno. Yeah, Nili's dead. And it's a tournament, play on a little bit. You're seeing mainly Cav right now, so you could maybe mix in some Halbs. But, the castle position is just amazing from Uzzi. It's still weird to me that he never castled this. Just, drop a castle there, but his fixation in this area is ultimately what's going to win him the game, so. Chukunu, a big option for him because he has so many castles. And there we go. Yeah. There we go. Nili's pop also really good still, 150 pop. But I think we just saw a bombard cannon go down. His halbs, his skirms, everything will die here. And he will have no access to gold pretty soon. Actually, well... lose those vills. I mean, he took most of the gold there. Okay, he was trying to pressure this castle with the bombard cannon. So if he can take this castle out, he's still got a fighting chance here. Yeah, I don't even think you need a camel now. It's just Light Cav and Chukunu as your comp. And Treb's slowly taking out all the buildings. And yeah, Nili's getting massacred. This game will swing Nili down to 110 pop before you know it. Things went willy-nilly for Nili on Killy. Come on, man. That's silly. Get out of here with that. But so far, I think Nili has had the better macro. I think Nili will actually be kind of satisfied with how this is played out. Obviously, he lost the game, but the fact he took it this late when he's up against the #1 Civ pick from his opponent and one of the best Civs will bring him some confidence. And you have to recognize against a player like Uzzi, you're never going to 3-0. There will be losses. So just don't get, don't get discouraged after a loss. On paper, you were always supposed to lose this game. And you had to be incredibly creative to make things happen here. And now he's just grinding down the will of his opponent. As Uzzi's now thinking, when will this man resign? But this happens because he's focused. He's not looking at the score. He still thinks he's got a chance because he's still got gold. It's not looking good for him. I have to be creative on what I talk about. Nili's bombard cannons. Will it go down? Please kill him, Uzzi, so we can move on to the next game for all the people here. Oh boy, bad pathing. And Nili calls the GG. Bombard cannons couldn't escape. Well played from Uzzi. It honestly looked as though Uzzi could maybe lose the position. Once I saw Nili was on his way to Imp, and once I saw Nili was on the gold and on the stone. But I think when you're in the dark and you're reacting so heavily, it's very easy to guess the wrong unit type. And the fact that he the fact that he wanted to go hand cannons and added all the ranges, I think really hurt him there. I think that was his plan. Or maybe it was just skirmishers, but I think he expected Halb from his opponent. And then Camel showed up, and he had already committed to the final armor and to quite a few knights. And then he's like, oh no, I spent my gold on the wrong unit line. Uzzi, with a few more outposts, would have won this game a lot earlier, but ultimately Chinese, man. Like, we speculated a bit in Dark Age on what more you can do. Uzzi played safe, and Chinese just have better options than the Franks at this stage. Nili still collected more wood and food, but it was all gold and stone there for Uzzi as he ties up the series and makes it 1-1. All right, here we are, game 3. And we were speculating a lot around the Italian civilizations for Uzzi because I felt like with how he played Nomad, the Italians would have made more sense for it. So clearly this answers our question. And he feels as though Italians is the answer to the Boomin' Cumans. Nili's going to click up here in just a second. It should be 14 or 15 pop. 2 TC boom for him. Really tough to stop because they can get that eco rolling, these Cumans. And I feel as though the Cumans will dominate. I feel as though there is no way to stop what Nili has planned. Not with the Italians. With other civs, yes. With the Italians, it's tricky, man. Because here's the deal. So you might think, well, T90, everyone's going kip checks with the Cumans. So if everyone's going kip checks with the Cumans, Genoese crossbows should be good against that. They do tons of bonus damage, and kip checks are made of glass. Yes, but it's not about the Genoese crossbowmen. In the long term, it's about how good the kip checks can be for that short window leading up towards Imp and how cheap they are and how fast they fire. And then the fast Imperial Age behind it. And so the whole build, this whole build up for Nili, which is going to take some time, is all about getting enough kip checks to place a castle here. If he gets the castle here, and he's an Imp, then this castle gets stripped down from Uzzi, and then Uzzi starts to have some problems, and then he can't make Genoese. So what you do here in Uzzi, you boom, right? You add the town centers, but you have to make a lot of Genoese. Even if it delays your Imp to get Bodcanero, I think it's worth it. Because if Nili has to back up with a second castle, at that point, you've caught up in eco. At that point, you can make Genoese long-term. But yes, the Genoese crossbowmen do counter most of what Cumans want to make. Here's another thought, guys. How do condos do versus kip checks? Can someone remind me of the Pierce armor of condos? Give me... if there's any stat guys out there, this would be great. I'm trying to think. Condos with Pavise. Obviously, you need the castle to research Pavise, and that takes time, which is an issue. But condos with Pavise, you get like 6? Like maybe 6 Pierce armor? They have 0 base Pierce armor. Okay, but what... I forget what Pavise adds. I know they're not a Huskarl, right? I know they struggle a bit. 0 base. Okay, if it's 0 base, then the armor's not really that much then. Yeah, condos wouldn't be good. All right, just things to think about. Yes, cheaper to go up to the next stage is very nice for the Italians. Having said that, though, Uzzi didn't go up faster than other builds normally require. So he's actually going to be floating resources. That's not necessarily bad, because you can use those resources to boom, but it's worth pointing out. Like, I think he could have gone up 2 vills faster, actually. Nili's second town center is here. Farm upgrade, wood upgrade, 2 TC boom. And I could pretty much tell you the rest of what Nili's going to do. I think you don't even need to add scouts or anything along those lines for relics. Relics won't matter here. It's all about executing your strat and ending this before late game. So around the time Nili's on the way to Castle Age, he'll send some vills to stone, and then he'll probably make a mining camp here to get more villagers on gold, aiming for the resources for Imp, and then eventually the resources for the castle. Honestly, there aren't many units I'd say that are bad versus kip checks, unless there's an actual mass. Yeah, the design of the kip check, though, is that it's very good behind the economy and to support that Imp timing. But yeah, for sure. Blacksmith Market, like we said, floating resources for Uzzi could have gone up faster. So it's a slight thing to bring up here, but he'll be up, and then he can get all of his eco upgrades. The main thing he needs to do now is he needs to collect some extra stone, because you only have 150 stone. Like, I know the Genoese crossbowman does nice bonus damage versus Cav, and I know that the kip checks are made of paper. But the Genoese crossbowman fires so slow compared to the kip check. And kip check, you should be able to kill the Genoese crossbowman at a similar rate, I think. That's what I'm thinking. So Nili has to make sure he makes enough kip checks. Uzzi has to make sure he makes enough Genoese. And then the rest of the execution needs to be there. Uzzi, you know you need to get stone for that next TC, right? If he doesn't get the stone, he's going to buy it. I'm guessing that he's just forgotten. I'm going to come off as judgmental here even before he decides on if he wants to take the stone or not. But listen, man, there's been players training and practicing and getting all this stuff down, right? And like Nomad, I was critical. It's going to be a close series regardless of what settings these guys played. But Nomad, I was like, I don't think that's the way you play Nomad in this version. I think there's slightly better ways to play it. Didn't even like the Mongol selection. I would have preferred he pick Persians and do that. And now he's going to forget, and he's going to be like, oh, crap, I got to buy the stone. Not a big deal, maybe. Maybe part of his plan. I don't know. He's going to the stone now. He forgot. Realizes now. Maybe it's just the pressure. Maybe I just need things to talk about. We have a monastery. And we have the TC on stone. Okay, that monastery and not having the stone for the other TC pretty much means it will not be 3 town centers and means he is absolutely going to struggle to catch up in Vil count. He is making Genoese crossbowmen right away, though. That's the tweak. Arguably too early, right? Your opponent's not even in castle yet, but he wants relics, so and maybe have it killing the enemy scout could be good. All right. Off topic, T90s, but since this is Arena, what do you think that the players in Hidden Cup know who they're against? Giving the prize that is at stake? Of course, casters and viewers would be the same. No. I think no. I think we tier the prize pool differently than other tournaments, right? Because it's a random bracket. And because of that factor, being a bit different for the players. So there's not as big of a gap between the player who loses in the first round versus the first place player. I think all tournaments need to scale their tournaments more, to be less top-heavy in general, but if you look at the tournament prize pool for previous Hidden Cups, I've made it so it's less brutal due to the random bracket and due to that factor. I think the fact that the players don't know who they're up against adds so much value to the strategy. They would change their whole draft, their whole game plan if they knew, in my opinion. And there's 1,000,001 tournaments these days, so I think that if there was like one tournament a year, then I'd care a lot more about, you know, that point there, right? But I like it. That's my thinking. Okay, so going for the relics, another late game strategy. Nili saw the Genoese. What do you think about Nili getting bloodlines here, guys? It adds 33% HP to your kip check. That's a lot of Genoese. What about adding siege? What about a siege workshop? Keep in mind that this is like very abnormal what Uzzi's doing. So Nili might not come to these conclusions. That scout took a really big hit there. Uzzi has gone 2 town centers. He's 15 vills behind. Nili transferring more villagers over to Stone. And Nili going for the boom. Whoa. So this is not a fast imp anymore. Nili saw the investment of Genoese crossbowmen and said, I have to abandon my strat. And so he will go for an extended boom here. I don't hate it from Nili. And I don't hate what Uzzi's doing either. And I think now you have to try to go Onager Howd, maybe? And just not play into kip checks whatsoever. Archer range from Nili is an interesting one, though. That indicates he maybe wants that for Thumb Ring. So. Lots of gold on the front for both. Dang, like if... Okay, so here's what's so wild about this. The economy for Uzzi's really not good. Look at the res collected. I mean, not compared to Nili's. Because he has played so heavily into army and into the only 2 TC approach, he's so far behind. But now the roles could reverse, and if he somehow knew this, which of course he doesn't, but if he senses it or something, he could actually go for the forward castle and fast imp. But I think there's a world, I'd have to test it. I really think there's a world where you can go 3 town centers and still compete with the Genoese and not fall as massively behind with the eco. Uzzi keeps checking, though. He's like, what is going on? He doesn't see... Oh, he did see fletching, excuse me, on the tower. Could you still go kip checks? 3 relics for Uzzi will be quite good. But even though he's Italian, it kind of looks like the Imperial Age is still miles away from him. He's getting Bodkin. He's so worried. He's so paranoid. And now Nili's going to make a couple kip checks. This is pretty interesting, man. Okay. Scouts on the move. DJ says Hidden Cup is my favorite tourney, but it needs a twist for players because they say they already know who they fight against. Well, that's funny they say that because if you followed Hidden Cup and you saw the Hidden Cup 4, after the players complete their results, the admins asked them who they thought they played against, and the players were all off. We showed that at the final reveal. There hasn't been another Hidden Cup announced, by the way, for anyone who's getting excited, but I'm working on things. Uzzi will place a castle here, which ends up being very nice because if he placed it forward, Nili could still trap him down. Nili's going to go skirms. I don't hate it. I mean, Kuman skirms are god-awful, right? But if you just want the map control, it makes sense to take the map control from the Genoese and then go imp. But yeah, I don't remember the percentages, but I think like 70% of the player guesses were wrong. I'd have to look back. We'll have ballistics come in for Nili for his skirms. Because you have no clue this is happening. Yeah, the fact that your skirms miss bracer means it doesn't mean anything right now. You have 3 range elite skirms, you clear all this up, get a forward castle, and get trebs going, it could be sick. 4th relic's still over here, by the way. I guess that's the 5th. I was thinking 4th for Uzzi, but Nili did get 1. He might end up getting 2. And resources collected is just significant. It's crazy. 5,500 more resources. Scout goes down for Nili. Okay, Nili, I think you have to show him now. Uzzi's like, what? Skirmishers? What in the world? And now you don't really have the economy. Like, everything from Uzzi was built up towards Genoese crossbowmen and maybe Trebs and forward castles. He doesn't have the food eco to switch into anything that counters skirms. This is really bad for him. Really good from Nili. Uzzi will see that there's a castle there from Nili. Nili should make a trap right away. You've made enough skirms, make a trap right away. Bring that bad boy forward. You might need to sell some food here. Does he not have a market? He has a market. Yeah, you'll take this trade. Genoese, like, killing Genoese so they're not around later will be awesome for you. Take that trade all day. Get your castle up. Yep, good hits. Trebs from Nili need to be popping here. He could have 2 Trebs on the way already and be going after castles. I think Nili can do no wrong here. And Uzzi tried. He tried to stop the forward. He tried to stop the common play we've seen with humans. And Nili's strategy switch here was beautiful. It was so well read. And just very unique. I've never seen anyone go skirms as the opening to take that map control. I think I still would have maybe considered Kipchecks. Think, okay, maybe they're still good enough. All right. And we'll see where Nili goes. Kings, by the way, in the tower. And in the tower. So I don't think Kings will be sniped. It has to be all-in Trebs now from both. Humans lack bombard cannon. Italians do not. And chemistry's on the way. So you could see the siege workshops already for Uzzi thinking about bombard cannons. Uzzi showed his hand too early. I agree. He made Genoese crossbowmen at the expense of his economy too early. It wasn't showing his hand. He made the numbers way too early, which shows me he doesn't have a good idea of the timings. Typically, I haven't seen it with Italians, but Bengalis, Chinese, obviously better economic civs. They opt for 3 TCs. They never go for relics, and they add the Genoese maybe 3 or 4 minutes later. Uzzi still doesn't have bow saw on a boom map. This is an economic map. To not have that upgrade is just wild to me. But Nili's prepped for this map. He's super comfortable on this map, and he looks good on it. And he definitely chose the right map to go up against his opponent here. Again, I predicted this series goes to 5 games. It's been interesting. It's been really interesting series here. But I don't think you can be behind by 50 villagers and have a chance. These have to be the best bomber cannons ever. The castles on the hill, though, could be really, really sick. And Nili might not actually have a way to keep his Trebs up in a second. This cannon can fire on these Trebs. Nili sees it, so he will use some of the Trebs on the cannon. Okay, Uzzi, fire. Hello, cannon? I don't understand why bomber cannons do that. That happens. There's sometimes you click and they just stand there. There he goes. Fires. Nili's gonna lose his castle. Hold the phone. Hold the phone. Hold the phone. Hold the phone. Hold the phone, Uzzi. He can save his castle if he repairs it. He needs to save it. He's gonna get the Trebs. And just like we said, Uzzi's got a big chance. Just like we thought. Oh, boy. And Nili's still making skirms. Nili's going to need a little bit of something else here, and it's going to be Cav, a unit that does get countered by Genoese. But, I mean, Nili's got amazing side vision with the outposts, and he sees all the extra golds. He's on the extra gold. He's got 2 relics. I think what Nili should try, and he was thinking about it because he made a petard. Oh my God, he's going to try kill the king. Oh my God, he's going to try kill the king. That'd be so sick. That would make me so happy, Nili. He knows there's no reason for there to be a flag on that tower unless there's a king. This isn't community games. But no, Nili made petards. I want him to petard bust into these walls and raid with light cav. Oh, man. But Uzzi will notice that, right? Oh, Uzzi actually sees the Treb. Uzzi has to hold on, brace himself, and hope that he doesn't die. to this pressure. Oh, God. Kipchaks have so little range. Oh, it's a spearman! What? It wasn't the king. It's a spearman. What? I didn't even realize. And Nili got so excited. Nili got so excited because he was looking at that. He got baited and he lost a bunch of skirms here. Holy crap, man. That's so funny. Also, what is up with Nili's adventurous villagers making outposts around? Wow. That's ridiculous. I mean, guys, humans lack bracer on their skirms. Uzzi still kind of held his castles. He's going to take out a castle here from Nili. Bombard Cannon Genoese could be pretty freaking strong here. But Nili is shifting over here. There's no cannons here. If Uzzi was bringing his cannons over and he had more stone in the bank, he could probably keep these castles up, but he doesn't have it. Nili's vision still pretty ridiculous around this map. That's funny, man. When did Uzzi do that? Community game pro over here, Uzzi. We got to invite him. All right, stone's been purchased to hold this. Nili will happily sacrifice skirms here just to keep the Trebs alive. Surprised he didn't just fight with the skirms, but there is castle fire. And hold on. Hold on. Trebs. 5 Trebs, though. Yeah, okay. The Trebs can actually... Most of them can maybe get out of here. And those castles are extremely valuable here. Nili still no final armor. Still missing lots of attacks on his hussars. Running into Genoese. Loses everything. And, uh-oh, guys. Uh-oh. Is there a chance? Nili with ambitious stone mining there. I think you push now if you're Uzzi, because if you keep trying to stabilize an economy, it's just going to get worse and worse. I think you just try and go for the kill. If he had enough stone for a castle now, I'd say like castle here and just push the mid. But Nili's happy to toss away skirms and keep the bombard cannons distracted. Chris, I know you're joking, but in the off chance that even one person believes you're being serious, let's not joke like that. Actually, it's not that big a deal. It's fine. I'm making a mountain out of a molehill. A castle here from Nili, and he wants to maneuver these Trebs over to kill this castle. And I think Nili can honestly just toss in... Like, you can lose 10 skirms for every 1 Genoese you kill, and it's still worth it here. Because your economy is ridiculous. Uzzi's got very little on gold. He can't replenish the bombard cannons to the Genoese. And yeah, Uzzi thought he was reading Nili like a book. But Nili switched up his strat a little bit, went for skirms here, and what a great play it was. Great decision from him. There's no way you win this game at this point if you're Uzzi. This castle will go down. No easy way to defend it. And Uzzi will be down 2-1, needing to win 2 games straight to move back into TTL Gold. Nili still has a home map remaining, which should bode well for him. And he still has Bengalis remaining, which should bode well for him as well. Because that Civ can be very strong on Arena. Oh, Nili backing up with his Trebs, which is surprising. I think he still could have stayed here, actually. And taken out the castle at the very least. He does have 5k gold, so... 5,000 gold. If you really could just lose those Trebs to take out the castle, but he could save that for later. We take no risks, for we are Nili. And we make human skirms. Yeah, I mean... Also, Petard's busted through the gate, so now units could run in through there. That'd be a good opportunity for Hussars, possibly. This must be community games, and Nili's just been... He's just been banking resources and telling everybody else he's got nothing. Normally, I'd say you could try a king kill, but I don't see how Uzzi could possibly get there. And again, I don't know what his army composition really is going to be. I can say this confidently, though. I think Uzzi knows what the Cumans do. I don't think he ever tried this in a practice game. Because at least a practice game against a player of, you know, his caliber. Because the timings were ambitious. And I think with tweaks, it could be way better. I didn't see a practice strat here from Uzzi. I saw a strategy that he thought about on paper. And then Nili realized it, which is so good, right? Because Uzzi thinks he's going to be the one who predicts his opponent's strat. In reality, it's Nili. And yeah, Nili with the beautiful tweaks. You see Dram on the way now, still 6k gold. Hussar's into the eco now. Castle will go down. Uzzi, the favorite in this series based on the seeding and whatnot, but the less experienced player. Remember, I think, like, Nili, he also played in gold. He was relegated out of gold and he wants to get back, so it's advantage to him that he's played all these maps already in the previous season. And so far, he's shown me that he knows exactly what's up. Made 115 skirmishers there with humans. That was so well played. Again, the idea of making Genoese crossbowmen to protect the middle area was great. But you have to be 3 town centers to have any chance with those Genoese. And here's an obvious one, right? There's a lot we could say as far as the approach from Uzzi. Ultimately, we have to credit Nili. But I want to look at when the Genoese crossbowmen were created. Think about that, right? So look at this. Nili's not Castle Age yet. And we have Uzzi skipping Bowsaw, which is huge for the economic rate of your vills, right? And getting fletching and having 7 Genoese. No Bowsaw and having fletching. I mean, I'll even give you the Genoese if you want to do that. I still think that is too early and that hurts your economy, which is already going to be behind. But maybe just skip fletching to get Bowsaw, which he never had in this game. I just don't think he was really used to the timings of when Nili comes across. I do think that he felt like Nili would come across, and Nili adapted very nicely there. And now Nili's up 2-1. He's looking good. But Uzzi's got a home map remaining. And we've seen this many times where players will dominate again, turn it around, and then we get sent to a 5th game. Here we are, folks. Arabia. Portuguese versus the Mayans. I expect a whole bunch of archers here, but the Portuguese do have knights. Mayans do have eagles. Immediately, we look towards the gold for 2 civilizations that rely on the golds. Mayans, nice back gold, nice back woodlines, nice back stones for Uzzi. Forward golds could be problematic. And then for Nili, this gold's a little bit further forward. Not too bad, though. This gold and then this gold could be problematic. This is really nice for late game, though. In Castle Age, having that out of the way. 2 back woodlines for Nili. Berries on the back for Nili as well. We'll see how he chooses to play it. Portuguese are pretty versatile, man. All their gold units are discounted. So your monks are cheaper, your knights are cheaper, your crossbows are cheaper. Portuguese and Chinese, those are the 2 civilizations that are the best at going for double gold comps. So crossbowmen combined with knights. But if Nili tries to go double gold comp against Mayans, I think what Mayans should do is just go 3 range archers. Actually, I think that's what I would do, is just YOLO archers. If I had Uzzi's archer micro, oh my god, what a dream. I'd absolutely just do that. Because let's say you have 10 knights and 15 crossbows. If your opponent gets to 30 crossbows, especially with the way pathing is right now, let's not talk about that. I think that maybe then you would prefer to have the crossbows. But obviously, mobility is a factor. There's a lot of different things to break down. And we have Feudal Age to enter before we talk about Castle Age. And with Feudal Age, you've got to execute properly, right? You have to scout in Dark Age to know if your opponent's going to do anything aggressive with militia. Find the map, find good pressure areas. I think Uzzi will go an early barracks here based on the start. I think he goes and builds a house here in a sec. And then I think we see the barracks. We'll see if he forgets to build a house. He definitely has to build it soon. He's a little distracted at the moment. But Uzzi, you've got to build a house. Don't forget the house. Okay, well now he goes out with 2 vills because he was going to be housed. And he builds it close because he was going to be housed. So, a little sloppy. But it's better to realize than not. Guido says, I know Bengali monks are insane. But it's relics don't win. It's relics alone don't win arena. Yeah, for sure. But Bengalis have a solid trash tech tree, right? So basically, the Bengali meta on arena, if we get there, is probably just going to be to boom, have a big eco lead. You usually know what your opponent might try and open with, so you build into a counter to that, like pikemen or skirms, and then you combine monks for any siege that might be out there. And then the long-term plan is to get to elephant archers, which are very hard to stop from the Bengalis. All right, so this is big, right? Uzzi's making militia. He needs to find his opponent. Now, here's an indicator here, guys. He sees a 4-tile gold. So if you've seen a 4-tile gold, you must know your opponent has to be close to that. And he was veering to the right, and I think it dawned on him that was a 4-tile. So now he's looking. Now, Nili's looking for his opponent. He has not seen any indicators, which is also huge, right? Because he won't know the militia are coming forward. And Uzzi's going to see everything he wants here. Oh, God. He actually can kill that Vil. That villager's not loomed. And Nili's barracks will be denied. Nili will, he will not lose the villager there. But that really hurts Nili's opening because now Nili can't go up to feudal. Okay, you have to get loom and you have to finish this if you're Nili. Oh, this is hard. This is heartbreaking for Nili. He can't click up because he needs 2 buildings, guys. The barracks is at 94%. I mean, this delays him. Can he finish the barracks? The militia are on the way. Nili scout went into the TC as well. Disaster strikes in Nili's base. And did he see the militia there? The militia just poked their little heads out for a second. Because if he didn't see it, he could lose a villager here as well. Ay, 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 ay. Quick walls needed. Quick walls needed. Eagles there. Quick wall Nili. Quick wall Nili. Rip Niliville. Could be anyways. He's going to try and hide. This is the dream start for Uzzi. Nili no scout. Nili adding 2 militia, but the 2 militia is effective when you have your scout. Nili does know where not to go, though, which is directly into that TC with that scouting. So that's good. And it's actually a good decision. Some people might actually bring the militia to defend now, but it already feels like the flow of the game is bad for you, so you have to do something to try and catch up. And we'll see if that happens. Uzzi's probably just happy that Nili's not on gold right now. He's like, huh? Okay. No gold for this guy. Interesting. Full walls for Uzzi. Dang. All right. Also, Eagle, very weak, is going to move out and scout. Militia moving around for more damage. But good job from Nili. He didn't lose a Vil. Would be pretty crazy if he were to kill one now. Here he is. Uzzi looking to get walls down. Uzzi's going to see this. And that villager's trapped. No way. No way. A nice movement there from Uzzi. He'll be okay here. All right, so this is going to be archers from both. Obviously, for Nili, he might need to start with skirms because he doesn't have the gold income yet. Nili has done... It feels like he's done more harassment with the militia than Uzzi has. Militia here, harassing, being annoying. Militia here, won't be able to get out. Nice job. Archer range from Uzzi. Garrison from Nili. Militia still running around, being annoying, being frustrating. Walls still going up for Uzzi. He will be completely walled. Nili will be in the dark, and Uzzi just saw that Nili's making skirms. So, not bad. I do want to check res collected. It should actually be pretty decent. Yeah, it's pretty close for both. I think having the wood from your berries here makes up for some of the additional villager idle time you might have had. And Nili, he loves TCs. Nili's favorite place is right underneath his opponent's town center. He feels very safe there. And so we'll see how many range units Nili ends up making here. Lots of walls. But Mayans have cheaper walls, right? So, everything that could have gone wrong for Nili has gone wrong in this game. He now has to understand his opponent could send range units out at any point. So, he's got to be worried about that. So, he's slowly walling up. He did wall later, so you could make some small arguments that his eco is more efficient because of that. And he's just going a mix of archers and a mix of skirms here. So I think because your opponent's making skirm, you could maybe, as we have this farm that doesn't have a farmer for some reason, you could maybe just go all in eagles if you're Uzzi, but I actually don't like that. Nili is worried. He's not going to commit heavily to skirms because of the possibility of you going eagles. What just died? I heard an attack noise. Oh, the militia died somewhere. Okay, yeah, there it is. So Nili's probably just going to work his way towards crossbows and knights. I think you just have to understand that crossbowmen are going to destroy these 3 feudal age skirmishers in castle age. So I think you just continue to make archers. And I'm speaking from experience because I have tried to go eagles so many times in these situations, and then it just doesn't look good. Another militia is going to bite the dust. Woo, woo, woo. All right. Eagle from Uzzi's been scouting the map. And, oh boy, he could die. Does Nili see that the deer are being taken? That's so funny. He sees the deer being taken. I mean, obviously it's walled. But Nili's like, I'm walled now. I see something. Let's get fletching. And here he goes. This army is not an army that Uzzi can easily deal with right now because of the skirms, though. So I'm thinking castle age. Nili shoots the next deer and now starts to attack the wall. I think we could see a house wall from Uzzi. But res collected, Uzzi is ahead, but it's just slightly. And remember, Nili spends less to make archers, so. Ooh, watch Nili send more vills for this market. He loves the better prices. He sees the market. Yeah, it's a market race. Nili's winning it. Uzzi, do you sense it? Do you need 3 vills on that market? Nah. I think we might see both players just sell their stone. This will be all in archers, as is the Arabia meta these days. There's quite a few reasons for that, but I do think one of the main reasons is because melee pathing is really, 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 really bad. Correct me if I'm wrong, though. It has not gotten better with the last couple patches. Castle Age on the way for Uzzi. Nili has 8 archers. It's 7 archers for Uzzi. We will now go double mining camp on the gold. I like it. Especially with the way this gold is positioned. And it's double range for him. Nili needs to go double range as well, most likely. And, oh, villagers exposed. Could easily lose a vill here. I think you click these vills over to this wood line, Uzzi. Yeah, move right on over there. Uzzi don't blacksmith yet. Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. But you're not a gold player, T90 official? Yeah, this is true. That wolf almost ran in there. Patrol did completely destroyed. When will the devs fix that? Was it on purpose? I don't know. All I know is that pathing was actually in a really good spot before the Xbox patch. And when they implemented that, a lot of things fell downhill. And it hasn't been fixed yet. Food count's ridiculous for Uzzi, but he's going to spend some of this on blacksmith upgrades, surely. And there's fletching now. Here comes Nili coming forward. This will be a race to archers. Nili has more archers right now. Nili will not be castle age as quickly, though, but Nili also has skirms, and also Nili has more numbers. If neither of them patrols, this is disastrous. Okay, Uzzi sees it. Nili sees it. And Nili needs to run. Okay, now you see he's going to hide. You run. Back away for a second here, my friend. That's very bold of Nili to do this, considering upgrades are coming in for Uzzi right now. And we will see the university come up, and we will see the upgrades hit for Uzzi a little bit faster. There's the university. Nili, university at home. Crossbows engaging. Nili with some confident micro here. Also, I think Thumb Ring is worth it. After Ballistics, get Thumb Ring. This is all this game is going to be. So, it's either that or you mix in Siege as well, but... It's going Siege as well. Why is he so concerned? You got crossbows. Uzzi's rattled. He maybe wants to go Ballistics I mean, he's doing precisely what I had said, but I thought he would click ballistics first here. Nili with some great pickoffs here. 15 crossbows versus just 10 from Uzzi. And ballistics is on the way, whereas it's a mangonel now for Nili. For Uzzi, rather. Okay, so eventually... Because Nili saw the siege, right? Eventually, he's going to say, okay, I haven't done damage. I could maybe consider a second town center. Or I'm greatly concerned he's going to counterattack and I'm going to go siege. It's one or the other. I think this is where you get really freaked out as a player. Because you don't see the army from Uzzi at all. And you see that you actually can't break through here. And now you're concerned at home. I think this is the correct play from Nili to go siege. Because something's coming to you. You just don't know where it's going to hit you. You're really hoping you don't get hit off your gold right now. Ballistics is coming in for Uzzi. Res collected is still very close. It's 2-1. It feels like every game has been really close between these two. Except for maybe the previous one. But even that, we kind of understood what the plan was from Uzzi. Uzzi didn't scout this area of the map, and now he sees the siege workshop. So he might actually think Nili doesn't have ballistics. All this gold, this wood, everything's in the back for Uzzi. He cannot be ranged by the crossbows. But he didn't fortify this area, so Nili could maybe go through. Nili, he was expecting something on this wood line. Doesn't see it. And now sees this, and is probably like, man, where do I go? As the siege and the crossbows are moving forward towards Nili's gold. Nili's got so much crossbow production. Look at the consistency. Crazy consistency in that production, and so many range units. So now Nili's starting to think, well, actually, maybe I won't get hit on my wood line, because I've checked this with this crossbow, so I can do something over there. And he buys the stone and drops the TC. Really would prefer it here. It's more risky, but it protects the wood line more. I don't mind it. Nili looking, Nili waiting. Oh, man, this is so intense. Where are those crossbowmen? And now suddenly he sees some movement. But it's near his gold. He might need to leave this, but he leaves the wood line. He's going to relocate from the golds. And he's coming from the right side to address a hill that's on the left of his base. A really awkward position right now for him to contest. Guys, these players are playing this so well. Like, they've both done such a good job at not getting caught out by the opponent's army and not taking damage. This is really intense. But if you've gained this hill and you see that Nili's here, I think you never leave this hill with this group. And you micro as best as you can with this position if you're Uzzi. Nili, with an opportunity, weakens the mangonel. So now he can actually hit an uphill shot direct and have it kill that. Doesn't hit it. But Uzzi's probably realizing soon he could get trapped. So he needs this next shot to work. Sees another mangonel from Nili. Look at all the units he has. Both players have so much army right now. Second town center for Uzzi, by the way. Remember, golds are a big concern for Uzzi long term. Nili has the other gold, which I'll show you in a second. Oh. Big shots, though. Uh-oh. 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 Nili could have some big problems now. He's got very little siege here to protect his crossbows. This is the gold I'm talking about with Nili. So he still has that as a safe option. But pretty soon, Uzzi could possibly push through here. And Nili, crossbows exposed, crossbows getting hit. He'll be down a range as well. So crossbowman production, not going to be near as good for him now. But he still does have this army. Look at all the siege. Not sure what the army does. I think a TC on this hill needs to happen for Uzzi. And bam, called it. Villagers heading over there. Nili's got 2 crossbows that'll go there. Okay, so Uzzi knows about this. I feel like this hill's huge. You're controlling this gold. Your next, all the, the rest of your focus maybe needs to be here. Nili attacking there. Uzzi has a mangonel waiting. And Nili's crossbow's not exactly moving. Still so much micro. Nili getting smashed right now by Uzzi. He's so good on Arabia. It's not like Nili's micro's been bad. It's just that Uzzi's just... I mean, Nili was confident at the start, but Uzzi's been able to get the position. And everywhere you look, there's mangonels on a hill for Uzzi. And Nili's just waiting in his base, hoping for opportunities. Opportunity here, maybe. Nili doesn't notice it. Uzzi splits, does lose it anyways. Crossbows here have run away for Nili. TC did go up here for Uzzi. Nili just now thinking of it. This is a crazy game. The food count for Nili's much better. And so that could lead towards him going to imp faster. But imp into what? Pretty soon he's only going to have mangonels. No way he TCs that. No way he TCs that, right? If he takes out the mangonel, he can. No way. You're crazy, dude. Also, he's trying to run through here. Bam. You see what he's trying to do? He thinks he can... If he could kill this, he could take the hill. Oh, interesting. He's actually going to make it happen here. The TC's on the way up. Uzzi thought he had all the gold controlled. Maybe not. What a crazy TC from Nili here. And crazy micro from Uzzi, we have to say, does get rocked. And now he sees the TC. Dang. Okay, do you drop a castle here if you're Uzzi, or do you drop a castle here? He's got the stone for one. Nili can now take that gold long term. And Nili's main TC is now going to be under pressure. Okay, mangonels. Did mangonel actually out of position? And Nili, he only has one crossbow, but he's trying to stay in the minimum range of the mangonel. Oh! Dang. Okay, good shots from Uzzi. And it's just Uzzi puts so much more focus onto his micro, and I think he's the better micro player. Pretty ridiculous stuff from him. But Nili's alive. Nili's not dead yet. He could defend with siege against crossbows. Normally, the next play now is heavy market abuse to imp for Uzzi. Because your crossbows, they can still find value, but they're not going to find as much value in castle as they can in imp. You floating too much gold. Okay, bam. Getting some pickoffs. Exciting times. Bam, 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 wham, bam. Thank you, ma'am. Oh, God, he's going to try to drop a castle there. It's at the bottom of the hill. That is a risky castle. What's riskier, the TC Nili went for, or the castle from Uzzi? Both? There's another mangonel on the way. If the castle goes up, could be very problematic for Uzzi as he splits around this. Both these players are so good. Big shot from Nili, but big losses after, and the castle will go up. And I think, guys, with the castle going up, we will see Uzzi buy some food, click up to imp, and then this might destine us for the 5th game. A ridiculous game from Uzzi. We knew it'd be an archer battle. It looked so good for Nili for a while. You know, in early castle, it looked like maybe the timings had been good, but the commitment to siege from Uzzi, the superior micro, and the consistency of archer production, and just finding the proper spots was awesome. The damage control he did not take damage from Nili at one point was sick. There's so many players. Like, I would advise you watching, don't be dancing around with your crossbows right now before Imperial Age, because that's your advantage. But he can do it because he's that good. Told you guys. These guys are so good. I could almost see right through it at the start. If Uzzi wins this game, I will have called it. Which maps they would win, which civilizations they would have played. Maybe not the boldest thing. And we're going to a 5th game. Where, for the record, I said that it'd be Malay for Uzzi. And he'll beat Nili playing as the Bengalis. But honestly, it might be Bohemians for Nili, so I'm a little uncertain there. I'm also assuming Nili's not just going to come back here. But it's hard to feel like he can when you're watching Uzzi play like this. You know, this hill is so crucial, and he'll be able to... He's going to actually just go plumes now. And this is not a guy that lacks confidence. My phone's ringing right now. And I have no clue who that person is, so you're not going to distract me from Age of Empires. Thank you. Could be 3 castles for Uzzi, too. And the plumed archers are going to loop-de-loop. Look how happy they look to be killing something. Oh, yes. Happy Warriors. Is he still saving these crossbows? Just so ridiculous. And the GG's called. We have a game 5. And, well, friends, that was Uzzi being a better Arabia player right there. I don't think Nili played bad. It's just 1 or 2 engagements. Potentially Mayan's a little bit better with the archer play. Because, like, it also could be that Nili's gold was a little bit more vulnerable. Nili's woods were a little bit more vulnerable. Uzzi having the back gold and the back wood benefited him. What I think would have been really interesting, though, when Nili came over here, so you assume a lot as a player because you have to make decisions with limited information. Okay, so right in this moment, you know what makes this game ridiculous? What makes this game insane is if Nili doesn't just assume this is fully walled and he goes for that. This is something Uzzi would have been so stressed out about. If those crossbowmen go in here, Uzzi might turn around with his siege and crossbows. He certainly is going to need more siege at home. And ends up kind of like a base trade. So, yeah. But, I mean, based on how Uzzi played it, the double house walls here, the defense, it's not a bad assumption from Nili to assume that that is completely, that's in a bad position. So, someone asked, why did no one make knights to threaten the mangonels? Because you need too many knights with too many upgrades to getting close. The crossbowmen would have killed them. And Food Eco was tight because they went heavy on wood, heavy on gold. It was just a streamlined build, all-in type style, which happens a lot these days, especially with those 2 civs. Okay, here we are. So someone had asked me, like, T90, does Uzzi play a lot of arena? And my answer is no. But unlike Fortified Clearing, or not Fortified Clearing, Regicide Fortress, which you don't really see in ranked games and is not included in every tournament, Arena's Arena. Arena is a map that Uzzi will understand well. And with that, he should understand, the timings with melee, advancing faster to the next stage, and how you can use that. And that will be the key here. Melee, advancing faster to the next stage, can add to a variety of different things for Uzzi. And then for Nili, who's just got the dream map in terms of golds and relics. Oh my god, relic, relic, relic. 2 back gold, super strong. The fact that Nili is able to go for, what's the word here? Chemistry, early. That can really help save you when melee are on the front of your base with trebuchets. The research in chemistry and Castle Age means you get to imp, make cannons right away, and it's cannon time. Yeah, Uzzi does have back golds as well, actually. That's a very good point. Oh, this is actually better for him because he doesn't have the stone in the front, which Nili does. 2 very good bases to work with here. Absolutely no complaints could be had about that. The neutral stones, neutral gold's a little closer to Nili, it seems. But yeah, how do you play this? So build that people don't do as much these days with the melee, I could see Uzzi doing because, again, Uzzi's a bit more... His arena meta stuff is probably going to be like 12 months behind. And so I think... he's going to go, and I still think the build's really good. I don't know why no one else does it. I think it's amazing. Fast feudal into eco upgrades into a fast castle. There's at least one person out there that doesn't know what I'm talking about with this, with melee. So I will show this to you now. Because he is going to do it. And then the main thing is, what does he do on the back of it? And I think scouts on the back of it would make sense, but this is the one type of generation where I wouldn't mind if someone in Nili's position went spearman to protect monks just to get these relics. Like, these are all really close. Normally, I say I don't like spearman and monk because enemy monks can convert to spearman. But when the relics are close, I think that makes more sense. If you're advancing out far with spearman, nah, the monks will get you. But I think fast castle... well, surely it's fast castle from Nili. Big boom has to be his focus. Survivalist does that with 10 civs, mixed results. Survivalist is a mixed results kind of guy. Regardless. I think there's 2 civs realistically where it makes sense to go for the fast feudal build we're about to see here. Malay, one of them, hands down. And then the other one's actually Burgundians. I think Burgundians are so good, though, with the standard fast castle that it's probably not ideal. It would depend on your overall strat. In the past, people used to do it with Slavs because of the fast farming. I could see a world where you could maybe consider trying it with Poles or something. Yeah, so there's a couple things at play here. So it's not just rushing to the eco upgrades. It's not just getting the eco upgrades fast. The big thing, and you guys who've been watching me for years are probably so sick of me saying it, but I have to explain it because people it needs to click in their brain like it's clicking in your brain, okay? And when you're advancing faster to the next stage, okay, that is less time that you are researching the next stage, which means you get back to creating villagers faster, right? So essentially what this will lead to is a really good castle time for Uzzi, but then he will also have the eco upgrades in. So his castle time could be competitive. Now, most pro players don't do this with Malay anymore. This is more of like a 2021 thing. But this backs what I think about Uzzi as a player, that he would still think this is strong. I do think it still is strong. I just don't know if it's necessarily optimal. Now, Nili, understanding that's a potential, never left his base with his scout, or at least he came home. Yeah, he did a loop and came home. If his scout was out there, he would lose it to the scout from Uzzi, and that's what Uzzi's hoping for right now. So, really good heads-up play from Nili to understand that he needs to keep his scout inside of his walls. Certain aspects of this build bother me. Why are we chopping the wood that you will run out of eventually instead of chopping the wood here? Like, this is a beautiful little lumber camp. You're on the main forest. But yeah. Might not seem that crazy right now, but trust me, build should be pretty good for both players. Did Nili see the relics? Okay, so we saw 2. He's going to be sending Viper a text after this, thanking him for the map hacks. Thumb drive. Like, dude, thank you for that. It was worth all the money I paid you because, oh my goodness. Yep, there's the barracks. I think if he didn't see these relics, he wouldn't go for the barracks. If the relics were further out, he wouldn't try it. Feels worth it. Is Uzzi up too early? I don't think so. I think it's only up too early if you have TC idle time. I think this is perfect, actually. There's a couple optimization things which are weird, like the berry villagers. The gold timing might be a little too early. It's actually really tough. You'll get all this food, but sometimes your gold timing's a little off. So that's maybe why he's going this early. Actually, I think it's going to be the opposite. I think it'll be floating gold, but he might opt for a market. Now, will Nili go stable here? Or will he just go blacksmith market? Market, stable. Okay, so he will make scouts. So he will compete for as much map control as possible. Let's check resources collected. Okay, so Nili's collected more. Keep in mind, in that period where Uzzi was going feudal, he had fewer vills, right? Now he has more, but it takes time for that to matter. And then eco upgrades, obviously, they pay off more in the long run. But this is not a scout build for Uzzi. It is simply just going to be a fast castle. Could always add scouts later. I've seen players in the past go market blacksmith and then barrack stable, but it's very uncommon for players to want to make 4 buildings to get their required result. Normally you want to make 3. So in Nili's case, barrack, stable, and you go for either the market or the blacksmith, and he went for the market, which I think is great. And actually, he's got 6 on gold, so I think we will see him buy and sell resources to balance out his economy a bit. And this is making use of a bonus. You always want to make use of your bonuses as quickly as possible in Age. I shouldn't say as quickly as possible, because some people might rush some things, but my point is here is, like, we're using the advancing up faster. Look, the castle age times are basically going to be the same. And we are using the free gold mining upgrades from Bohemians. Nili showing Uzzi 2 scouts, and Uzzi's adding the barracks, and yeah, he will probably add the staple as well. But what this does do is it does delay your second TC. The good news, though, is that these farms last you forever, so you kind of save wood. So spending extra wood for scouts isn't necessarily bad. Timing here could be awkward for Uzzi, though, because he's going to try and save this scout. And if he were to try that, the gate would open. Nili should run. Don't give him a scout kill. Yeah, I think you run there towards your other scout in an ideal world. And Nili now looking for that scout, can't find it. If Uzzi could save it, he'd be living the dream. Nili in Castle Age. Uzzi hiding right now. Dude, heads up play. He hid for a bit. Nili's now like, okay, he's not over here. And now does Nili loop back this way? Huh! Oh, they see each other. Can't catch me. That's so funny. That scout will go down. Nili, good job from him. There's too many scouts from Nili on the field. I think Nili will just be happy with a 1-to-1 trade. And there you go. Nili does not see his opponent has the stable there. Second TC coming up for both. And Lightcav coming in for 2 scouts. So this is where you start to look at Uzzi and say, okay, maybe his arena timings aren't perfect. I don't hate it. I don't love it either. The timings are a bit wonky, bit weird. That's a lot of scouts from Nili. And I like what Nili's done. You make 5 scouts and then you get Lightcav. Is it worth it to get Lightcav when you only have 2? I'm not so sure. Lightcav actually a little bit slower than scouts. But now they're both on Lightcav, so they're moving at the same speed. And Uzzi is not going for the relics at all himself, which is probably a good decision here. He's going for 3 TCs. There's no way he could keep 3 TCs working at the same time. Okay, so Nili backed back into his gate because he saw the Lightcav double back. He's getting husbandry, which is huge. Which means you could kill all the Lightcav, get all the relics. Let's check res collected. Honestly, pretty darn close, right? No real difference in it. Still, though, the melee advanced faster to the next stage later on. So, something to think about. And a Lightcav. You go for this monk here, Uzzi. You go for that monk. Runs away. Oh, wow. That was great from Uzzi. Husbandry, though, will mean that these Lightcav all go down for Uzzi. It might not have dawned on him yet, but maybe you just give up and you just try and kill the monks if that's going to be the case. Oh, wait. Nili notices the Lightcav's peeled off. And Nili, good job. 1 relic only right now. But he might end up getting all of them. Okay, so more villagers for Uzzi as well, right? So I like how Nili's controlled the game. Nili is a big relic control guy. Having this map control can be extremely helpful for the rest of the game as well, right? If you're worried about melee, fast imping, and forward castle, well, now you have army to protect things. I think things have looked pretty darn smooth for Nili, with the exception of not having bowsaw. Ooh, so he did cut some corners. Yeah, that's really... I talked about it when Uzzi did it in Regicide Fortress. That's rough. So Nili getting Town Watch right now. Is he going to outpost? Adding a blacksmith. Okay, Nili wants to siege push. And okay, he's getting Town Watch for the house, I guess. Fervor does affect the villagers for the Bohemians. As to Sanctity, but you don't really need that right now. Nili actually just ended up getting Loom. And this is a good thing to do with map control. To keep the melee player back in his base. Go for a little bit of pressure. Uzzi, expecting that pressure could be possible, obviously doesn't see anything right now. Is simply just dropping some extra layers of fortifications behind. He's been on stone for a bit here, so defensive castle should be pretty easy for him. But Nili would essentially force Uzzi to go for a defensive castle, which is a win in his book. Is it going to be Ram or Mangonel here? I like Ram. It gets through the wall faster. And Uzzi might need some damage control in a second, because 6 Light Cav could be really bad for him. Nili a couple Vills on stone. Now he starts to attack the gate. Here comes the Ram. Uzzi will likely just drop a castle. The second he sees the Ram, does he have to delete the house and place it here? What happens? He will need walls too. Buys the stone, needs the stone now. Taking his time. I would have just bought it. I'll sell some wood later to get the gold back. Like, just buy the castle, dude. This is stressing me out. Go for the castle. Okay, castle, please. Somebody, castle. Oh, what the... Who? I don't like the castle. That is way more defensive than this needs to be, sir. Unless you don't want your opponent to know you have the castle, but he's going to find out eventually. I think he still had time to do it here, but he's in the moment, right? In the moment, stressed out, 0 relics. Nili going for chemistry now, thinking about imp. Sorry, not chemistry, university, which can research chemistry, of course. Nili's macroing well. Nili wants another town center. If he produces out of that, that delays his imp. And classic Malay problem, where you will arrive to imp and you will have nothing. Fast imp into archers with no upgrades. Woo, my favorite. And Nili's like, oh, he has nothing here? Okay. That's weird. Maybe I can actually attack the TC. And now he sees this TC. That castle's so peculiar. I think that's the pressure getting to Uzzi here, guys. Hard to judge those situations when they're happening to you. And I think Nili's played this perfect. Nili has truly played this perfect to win this matchup. Uzzi didn't win the Light Cav war. He had lesser execution there. Uzzi's making karambits, which I don't think is a great long-term play. Nili will have the eco lead. And Nili has map control. And Bohemians have a greater late game than the Bohemians do. But you might want your monks here. Uzzi, sneaky Light Cav, and take my stable. I take your monks, fool. Nice. And now the karambits come out. The siege is going to go down, and the karambits allow Uzzi to breathe a little bit, which is, of course, quite nice. Okay, so Nili's still a minute and a half away from the next stage. When he makes it to the next stage, he'll have chemistry, though. You can actually make hand cannons in Castle Age 2, so we could just start to make hand cannons. He's dropping a castle in defense. He knows he just needs to hold here. Now, Uzzi is going for archers. And Uzzi wants a forward castle. And if Uzzi sees this castle, he should just make a treb now. I think so anyways. Make that treb. Yep, there it is. Drop your castle here. All about pressuring Nili as quickly as possible here. I know it looked a little wasteful there from Nili, but that's all very good. Losing the monks is bad. You probably should save them. But just like... the fact that Uzzi's first castle had to be that far back was really good for him. Does Nili see this? He does. He could potentially kill some villagers here. You're not going to use the Light Cav for much else, so you might as well. Doesn't exactly micro it. And Nili can now make a bombard cannon. And he's got double siege workshop. And this is why that early chemistry is important. Honestly, the Arbalest have so little value right now for Uzzi. I think this ultimately just comes down to if the Trebor is won or not for Uzzi. I mean, if... okay, actually, I take it back. Like, if he gets into the base here, it could be a bit different, but... and this is all about the siege push, and that one Treb had to wheel all the way from back home. And he's going to go onto a castle that Nili will probably have to repair, but even still... Nili will have hand cannons, and Nili will have the bombard cannons, which I prefer to have in this situation. These archers can get canceled out, taken out of the equation simply by the bombard cannons existing, and the only way to address those bombard cannons would be karambits, which you won't have more castles for, and then there's gunpowder. Uzzi's at the limit in terms of resources. Nili just making sure that he doesn't have any additional headaches by dropping a gate there. And there are his cannons. Nili also going to mix in some skirms here. I think you could also, if you're really confident in this position, you could idle and get Hufnitze, but I don't actually think you need it. I think just having bombard cannon alone is enough. Again, 5 relics, right? That's good for him in the long run, and he's mixed in the skirms as well. Yep, Nili's got the perfect game plan here. I don't see how Uzzi breaks this easily. And again, 1 win away for Nili to go back to gold, which means so much to the guy. I'm good friends with him, as many of you know. And I had some conversations with him, man. This means the world to him. It would be real gut-wrenching loss if he were to lose this series. But he's pushing back. And Uzzi's doubling down, but he's going into units that, at least to me, it seems like Nili has the counter for. Nili's making more and more skirms. What an interesting move on the draft from Nili. He picked Bohemians at the very end. Also, how many games are you going to see Nili just make outposts in crucial areas? We've got to stop the man from doing this, guys. He's getting out of hand. He's got full vision. He knows. But also, it's not like the Malay have many options. For the Malay, it's timings. And it's timings with ranged units. Nili could be moving out here. Like, he absolutely could be killing this. But he's not doing so at the moment. Turtled up in his base. And maybe he's starting to believe now, as he will click the Hufnitze upgrade. 2 minutes away now, and that's probably why he's not leaving. But it is giving Uzzi time. We should mention that. But it's also very important 2 minutes for him. And if he were to lose all of his cannons, then there's a world where maybe it's bad. I think you only need skirms. The 30 skirms alone could handle all of this, truthfully. More outposting from Nili. We'll see. There's some gold there. The light cap that are still alive may end up going over to that location after Nili spots that. That seems like a good use for them. Now, just over a minute away from Hufnitze. I think we'll see Nili start spamming monk upgrades too to convert enemy cannons. He's just thinking, what could Uzzi do here? Siege engineers too for extra range on his cannons. Nili's going to have 5 of them. Could easily have more with these resources. But Uzzi, you've got to push. You're against the player who has relics. The score is also really fascinating to me. Can anyone explain why Uzzi has more score? It's not like Nili's lacking in economy. Maybe the score goes up like crazy from Nili once he gets Hufnitze. He did spend a lot of resources to research that. Yeah, there it is now. Yeah, score goes up. Makes a little bit more sense now. And getting block printing so we can convert enemy cannons. Wagenberg. Oh, Hussite reforms. His monks are going to cost food. I don't think he wants that. I think he clicked the wrong one. I do not think he wants to get that tech. It's not necessarily awful. But I definitely wants the one that makes his cannons faster. Rip to the Treb for Uzzi. Nili needs ballistics. Yeah, that's true. Big shots, though. How are you supposed to stop these cannons, man? Nili has more resources collected than everything. You're now going to have to fight with worse cannons, with fewer cannons if you're Uzzi. And Nili's going to be in a position to convert those cannons in a second. Oh, don't your monk upgrades also only cost food after that tech? I wonder if maybe that was intentional from him, because the monk upgrades that he saved up here are kind of expensive. This is why, like, Malay dropped off in the meta because of civs like Burgundians and Bohemians. and being able to just hold and then get superior cannons. And then melee are stuck on ranged units. It's going to be Karambits, though. I mean, honestly, if he maxes out on Elite Karambit too, he might have a chance. We have a pause now. If he kills these cannons once, he could potentially dive. Or you could say maybe he kills these with the Karambits.
Yes.
All right. 200 pop for both pretty soon. When I play like this, the enemy switches to light cav and steamrolls me. Well, there's hand cannons here, and melee have some of the worst light cavs in the game, right? So if they're steamrolling you with melee light cav, then something else has gone wrong. It's probably just the matchup. Oof, big shots. Cannonball onto the Treb. Treb goes down. I think Nili should also prep Arbalest. Could be helpful here. Karambit Warriors. They're there. They're elites on the way. Uzzi knows this is not going well for him right now. Nili can see it, though. He just needs patience. He is allowing some of these res to be collected, which he might regret later. But his game plan has worked out perfectly. He's getting techs that could be helpful for vision, for armor, for his monks that he has yet to really commit heavily to, but he does have some on the way. You don't need many of them. And he's got so much vision after town patrol with these outposts that he's placed all over the map. He sees everything. Look how far he sees into his enemy base. Nili with 2 big shots there on the cannons. He's got the hand cannons protecting his cannons, and Uzzi's got to be thinking, what do I do? I can't do anything against this crap. This is insane. I'm straight up outmatched, and the truth is, he is. He is outmatched. But the time and where he needed to control this game was earlier, and he wasn't able to make it happen, and Nili did a great job at holding on and delaying. Nili isn't mining gold, which is actually very interesting. Maybe there's still a chance for Uzzi again. One big engagement, if he could find it. Especially because Nili's cannons are kind of pumped. But there's still only 2 cannons for Uzzi out there. 22 Karambits doesn't feel like the number you need. They take up half the population space, remember, right? And the monk could convert the cannon, converts the cannon. Say goodbye to 225 wood and gold. Nili just backs away. I'd like to see a few villagers repair these cannons. And Uzzi's military count. It's high. But it's dropping. And this is just... Oh, man. This is unapproachable. Another cannon converted. Poor Uzzi. Nili's just so freaking patient. Like... Feels like... Since his monks cost food especially... Maybe just keep pushing forward, man. But he doesn't want to throw. He knows he at this point, he's done enough to win this game. He just needs to see it through. This is what I'd like to see from Nili. So, he's going to take this castle down, right? You need to be taking this stone right now. And then when you eventually take out this castle, you then castle this area to take your gold. He's actually going to try and take it now. That's where it's been awkward for him because he hasn't been able to mine any gold. But he doesn't lose his gold units, and he doesn't spend gold on his monks. Okay, those things are moving pretty slow. Does he get Wagenburg tactics now? Does he realize he didn't get it? Or did he actually get the food monks tech? Intentionally. I'm going to give him credit. Say it was intentional. Treb's going down for Uzzi. Yep. If it's Arabia, you can raid and try and hit the sides, but there's just wooden walls. Nili should maybe try and re-wall it, but... On this map, Arena, it's all about timings. And sometimes it's timings with similar compositions. And the most common deal breaker these days is, like, Light Cav, Bombard Cannon, Monks. Oh, God, that's a lot of Karambits. Oh! Oh, my goodness. Nili with no mercy. So many hand cannons for him. He's got 35 hand cannons. Hand cannons destroy infantry, and Karambits have 40 HP. That's not gonna be the way back in this game. Maybe elephants? Did you try elephants? Probably too late. Nili thinking about some gates here. Again, I'm actually watching the game from Nili's point of view, by the way. Like, Nili's Fog of War. Like, I toggle Fog of War on and off. You can only see it in the minimap because his outposts give him so much vision. Oh, man. Big shots. And Uzzi says, screw it. I need to fight. I need to try something because this isn't going to get any better for me. I don't have relics, but he loses all of his karambits. And Uzzi, the favorite, based on ladder rankings and all that good stuff. And we could see how good he is on standard land maps. Lost the first game on Nomad. He then lost on Fortified Clearing. They lost on Arena. Just any of the settings that wasn't allowing him to play his, you know, his MO, his thing. Nili was very creative with his draft. Nili was very creative with his strategy. And he was able to slow this game down a bit. Take control over it. And slowly, methodically finish off Uzzi. And now Uzzi, obviously, he's not going to resign. He's at 200 pop, right? He's not going to quit. We might see him play on a while longer, but I think he knows now that he may just be completely outmatched in this type of position. Now, if you're wondering how to counter this with Melee, he needed more map control in Castle Age. More map control in Castle Age so that first castle was on the front. The fact that he lost the map control and opted for that castle in the back really ended up hurting him here. It is a tough matchup, but Nili knew map control was king here. And I loved how little investment Nili needed to force that castle back. One Ram, one Mangonel, and used the light cav he already had. I think Uzzi's going to regret his build to the light cav being inferior. Because I think he got the light cav upgrade and only made 3 light cav the entirety of Castle Age. And hey, there goes Nili with Wagenburg Tactics. So that makes his gunpowder faster. He actually has still very little on gold. So we should probably fix that. But he does have 5 hoof needs in the queue, so. Yep, Nili's slowly creeping forward. He will take gold, there's no question. And he's mining more stone, so we will eventually see some castles as well. This is rough for Uzzi. I feel really bad for him because he's a really good player. Losing 3-2 here shows that he's just one game off. And I think especially in upcoming season's map pool for Season 3, he would be really good. There's not as many closed maps. And we see Force Levy for Uzzi. So now he can make two-handed swordsmen that only cost food. Oh, man. The side raid could be pretty sick, actually. He's going to try. Oh my goodness, these shots are ridiculous. If this is Regicide Fortress and there's a king to snipe, you know, maybe I start to get a little bit more excited here. He's trying, man. These villagers are getting killed off of gold. And Nili going to notice this. He's actually researching Bombard Tower. Placing a couple of Bombard Towers to fortify the map wouldn't be a bad idea. And Nili with the slow crawl. Just making sure he could finish off this game. Oh, dude, I mean, he doesn't even have Man-at-Arms upgraded yet. He's just on Militia now. Supplies coming in for Uzzi. Yeah, there's no way. Man-at-Arm rush, let's go! Man-at-Arm, sick! But yeah, Nili has gunpowder, right? Gunpowder answers those Man-at-Arms pretty easily. And then, of course, Nili now overtaking the main base for Uzzi with 100 army. 100 unkillable army. I said this about Bohemians the other day because people said they feel like Bohemians suck now. I said, I think there's 3 civilizations that do really well against Bohemians. The rest, Bohemians dominate. I think Turks, Britons, and Burgundians do very well against Bohemians. You don't have those civs? Maybe there's another one I haven't thought of. Maybe like Bengalis, but I think if you don't have those civilizations, you could struggle pretty massively against a comp like this. There's elite arena civilizations, and there's pretty good arena civilizations. And Bohemians are elite, and the Malay, they're pretty good. They did not have the tools. But just to break this down, as Nili's probably so pumped. I'm so happy for him. He'll be back in gold. Gold starts in a week, so we'll see what he could do there. But again, I really think the key here is the amount of army control, right? You need the castle that eventually went up to be here, right? And I mean, we first off credit Nili for having the amount of army control that he did. But Uzzi said, I go scouts. Realized, I don't know if I can make that many scouts, and then just stopped. And he basically committed to the town centers a little too early, and he didn't have the farming eco where he needed it to be. That's the way I see it. Now, is it still really awkward for him? Yes. But think about it this way. Nili's in my chat. Let's go, dude. Let's go, bro. Think about it this way. If there were more light cav on the fields, then the light cav could have killed a few more monks from Nili, you know, forced a few more mistakes and reactions from Nili. But silly Nili, he was chilly, and he was chilling behind his walls and was able to make all the correct decisions that he needed. Get the job done. Congrats, Nili. I can tell you guys now, because Nili has won, that Nili was like, messaged me a couple weeks ago. We're talking, and he was like, dude, I'm feeling a lot of pressure right now to get results. Feeling a lot of pressure in TTL. I need this. So I'm really happy for him. I mean, resources collected looks pretty close still. I guess due to the wood from Uzzi, but guys, look at the draft here, though. I want to show this draft just to close this out. Because I think this was an interesting call. So I believe Nili initially drafted Bengalis, planning on playing that on Arena. And look how high up Malay was drafted. Malay was higher for Uzzi than it was for Nili. So Uzzi didn't think about Bohemians, but near the end, Nili said, ooh, wait a second. I get one more pick. Bohemians is free. Maybe I should try that. He picks Bohemians, and that works twofold. That A is obviously a good civ, which you can use against Malay, and I think it might be easier against Malay. But also B, had he not done that, then Uzzi could have gone for Bohemians instead of Burmese. So, yeah. Good stuff. I honestly, I think originally when I made the prediction, this is going to be awkward if Nili's listening to me. But because I was thinking it was Bengalis, I thought Bengalis would be awkward to play. I thought that maybe Uzzi would win this 3-2 and win Arena. And Nili, don't get upset with me. I predicted that before the series. I predicted all the games and all the civs. I got the first 4 games correct, even before the series started. The 5th game, you proved me wrong. I'm happy for you. But yeah, like, you know, maybe Bengali is more awkward to play. Maybe Malay is able to get the timings down. We'll see. Or we would have seen. I don't know.